Hi, friends.
Let's go.
That's my boy Joe Fisher over there. On a happy Monday. Little hot corner style action here on a Monday.
You know, this took too long.
Too long,
I'm
brother.
gonna write it into my contract that this happens once a week.
Well, you know, I mean,
I don't have a contract.
you can thank Brett Bielema for that, Joe.
Maybe I will.
Write him a letter.
Maybe I will. No, this is a long time coming. How long has it been since you left me high and dried before you got big time on me? Two months ago.
2 months ago, I think. We had such an unceremonious exit too.
You've changed, man. You've changed since you got all this attention and fame.
I did tell Joe as we were show prepping, I go, Joe, things have changed since we used to do stuff. I would text Joe, hey, what do you think about this, and this? He'd be like, sure, whatever, and we'd just figure it out as we go.
Whoa. I would also give you a couple back.
Oh, you were great.
I pulled an Andy Dirt Johnson on you last night. You're like, hey, man, I was thinking about this, anything else? And I just went radio silence on your ass.
I know. I was like, Joe.
Gave you nothing until about like 9 o'clock this morning. I was like, maybe this and this.
I thought we were friends. And then I said to you, other than the obvious, what do you want to get to today? And Joe just tells me the obvious.
Yeah, I was like, well, basically, we know what we're talking about today. Yeah, what a weekend. What a great sports weekend. I thought that Sunday night, the way that Packers-Cowboys game started, I thought I was like, wow, after this weekend, this is going to really end very climactically. And then they blocked the extra point, and all of a sudden, Cowboys have life, and they're leading at halftime. I was like, what the hell? We have a Sunday night game all of a sudden.
Even at 13-2, I was like, I'm over this. You know, it was really weird for me because I had to do it again where I ended up having to record the Oregon, Penn State, Bama, Georgia, and Coug Colorado State game.
Boy, you're filling up that DVR quick.
Yeah, I know. And because I had to go to my father-in-law's. It was his birthday. So I went to my father-in-law's, and I recorded all three of those games because that was the window. Fortunately, the night window wasn't that exciting. So I get home at 9 o'clock, and I'm watching all three of these games at once with my phone off. Okay, so then what happens is, and it's not even because I was up late, because it's Saturday. You know, I'm usually up later on Saturdays than I normally am. But when I started watching football on Sunday, boy, the energy, I was missing the excitement. There was something about yesterday in college football, like from a fan perspective and an atmosphere perspective, that the NFL,
it does not have.
For the first time in a while, I was like, whoa, you don't have this
I noticed this last year.
You're king.
I can't tell you what game it was or something, but it was in the middle of a game, 10 a.m. Slate, and they kind of just like panned the crowd. And everybody's just sitting in their seats.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was just a day out of the park. And it was it was a very like jarring image to me where I'm like, this is so much different than college football. To me, I know that NFL's king, but to me, there is no better sporting experience on TV or in person than college football.
Without a doubt.
The energy, the pageantry, like as much as criticism as you want to give college football, and it's not the same anymore. It's still just, it slaps every single Saturday from 9 a.m. to 11:30 at night.
Well, sometimes it depends. So, you know, sometimes it depends because, look, if you look at the slate this coming weekend, it's not super sexy.
See, when we do this, I feel like every weekend. Remember week 2, we're like, what's the best game? Miami, USF. And then there was like 6 other games that ended up being just bangers.
Yeah, we do that. It is funny how much we just give the NFL the benefit of the doubt.
Well, and
deservedly.
This happened last week. I was doing my podcast with my buddy. I was like, God, the NFL slate kind of sucks. I was like, but you know there's going to be 4 to 5 games that end in just pure chaos. And then we got like 18 blocked kicks in the 10 a.m. slate. And I was like, boom, there it is.
Yeah. I know this week in the NFL definitely looked like a...
Yeah. It was, I don't know. The college, everything that goes into college games makes it, to me, a better experience. But the games you always get seemingly more crazier games with a smaller sample size. I mean, you get at most 16 games in NFL, but it seems like 12 of them are always close, one possession, craziness at the end of the game. College, you've got 60 games a week, and so, yeah, you're going to get a lot of good games out of that, but to me, it's just like the NFL, you can always bank on just some badass stuff going down.
Well, yeah, we're both baseball fans, and it's not
some more than others at the end of this season, but
it's not necessarily this way in baseball. But like take basketball, for example. I love college basketball. We got Swag sitting in today for us for a little bit as Rusty's out. I love college basketball, but there's so much bad play even at the high level in college basketball that even when you switch to the NBA, which I really don't care for the style of play, it's still dudes. And the NFL is that way. But for some reason, like baseball and college football, what they have in common is that human error is just so much entertainment.
Yeah.
Because the NFL players are clearly better than college players. There's professionals on every single team. This isn't, Arkansas no showing against Notre Dame. It's pros on pros. And this weekend, that was boring to me. I want to see kids missing field goals. I want to see somebody trying to trip maybe the best D lineman in the nation and get an unnecessary roughness call that almost blows your entire game up. Like, that's what I want to see. And I got to the NFL and I was like, oh man, these guys are just really good.
Well, I don't
it's
know.
Kind of boring.
If you watch that Sunday night game, Cowboys linebacker Maris Leafau had one of the dumbest penalties that almost blew the game for them, hitting a Packers running back like 10 minutes after the pass went incomplete.
Jordan Love forgot his watch at home.
I wish he would have forgot it just for 1 second longer, but just one more second.
But I think you're right. I think that sort of unpredictability that anything can happen made this weekend in college football great.
I will say about college basketball, yeah, like the chaos and almost like dysfunction of the game sometimes makes it fun to watch. You're like, oh my God, this is so bad that I can't take my eyes off of it. Yeah.
Car crash be damned.
All I know is that it was a great weekend for my girlfriend to go camping somewhere where there was no service.
Bye.
Well, when
have fun, I love you.
When Dusty asked me a few months ago, he's like, hey, you want to do the post-game show? I'm like, yeah, sure. Let me just check my calendar and let me check what Saturdays I'm, got something scheduled or planned. And I looked, and I saw this weekend was a camping weekend, and I told her, I was like, I will not be going with you. That is, you enjoy some time with your friends, okay? Because, yeah, I'm just basically going to yell inside of your house and have your neighbors concerned about what's going on over there, which definitely was the case. She didn't get any texts or any calls from her neighbors as far as I know, but I held it down off of division, and we got some big dubs and big ties this weekend.
It's 9:30 at my house, and I'm watching a game that's 5 hours old. Dude, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
I had to have a conversation with the wife. I was like, babe, look, some Saturdays we can do stuff, and I can sneak around some things like that. But if there's a weekend like this again, babe, I can't do it. I can't do it. My kids are like, you're watching football again? I'm like, yeah, you eating food again? Enjoy it.
I saw a great video of
I'm turning into that dad.
Oh, yeah.
You like food on your plate? You like clothes on your back?
It's my job.
Then I'm going to watch this football game.
There you go. 12:30 has been announced the kick time, Indiana at Oregon in 2 weeks.
Love that. Love a 12:30 kick.
Get your breakfast tailgate items ready, your mimosas, your Bloody Marys, everything, man.
That game's turned into a
That
really
means Joe will be
exciting
here
game.
at 6 a.m.
Listen.
Just brought you down.
One of my favorite things, though, about that is when I get to text Rashad Taylor and tell him that the show is at 6 a.m., his text response back is becoming my new highlight of that. It does suck having to wake up at 4:30 on a Saturday morning, but one of my highlights of that moment is when I tell Rashad, guess what time our show is this upcoming Saturday. There are things he says that I cannot say back on air.
Oh, I know the man. I that does not shock me, dude. Like, I love this job, and that's why I give Andy and Brandon and Swag, you guys, so much credit, because
hey, they chose that life, right? I didn't choose a 6 a.m. show on Saturdays.
Easy.
Those two chose it. I was not offered an option.
You just came for the ride.
When they asked if they wanted to move to the morning, just Swag's in the background, just shaking his head.
I was not in that meeting.
Don't do it.
Didn't even get an invite.
Nope, I was not in that meeting.
Well, the amount of coffee you go through, they knew you'd be fine. They're like, just give him some Folgers, he'll be good to go.
See, we laugh about it all the time. Like, when you do this job, you like this job's real fun, But like, you have to bring it every single day. 6 a.m. Every day, nothing but kudos.
That was a long weekend of football,
yeah,
and
right,
golf, and other stuff, and yeah.
Andy just had his weekend of normal week. He just woke up at 4:30 again every morning to watch Ryder Cup.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I
I honestly, I wish I was more of an early riser.
Me too.
I can't, the night owl stuff at my very old age of 33. I just can't do it anymore.
I've moved to 7 a.m. because of this show, so I get up around 7 a.m.
It's good. It's good.
I mean, that's a big jump from 8:30.
Honestly, it's a blessing that school started back up, because now that the kid got to get him up, get ready for school, all that's helping me get up around that 6:30 time frame, and I'll take it.
Oakley dokley. Well, we got a show for you today, a great one, in fact. Let's see. What do we got to talk about today?
I think there's a couple things.
The 11th.
Legitimately one of the best sports weekend of 2025.
It's definitely the best sports weekend since I've been here.
Yes,
Doing this show, yeah. Definitely the best weekend. Joe's in the house, so baseball's lined up, so we'll talk a little bit of that in the 11 o'clock hour. Georgia's got a Bama problem. We'll get to that. I asked the other question, do the Ravens have a similar Bama-type problems? We'll check in on the Ryder Cup and how embarrassing it is to be a United States of an American fan.
Hey, they got me to turn the TV back on Sunday.
That is true.
I'll give them that, I guess.
I'll give them that. But we'll start where everybody's thinking, where everybody's talking. The now number 2 Oregon Ducks in the nation go into State College, into Beaver Stadium, and come out with a W. How it went down, there's a lot to get to it, but where we'll start is just why we love college football. The pageantry, the colors, the looks, the drugs your coaches are on, everything you can think of. We'll start Penn State, Oregon next. This is 105.1 The Fan, Portland sports leader.
big ass foot.
Nah, it was brutal, dude.
Jane Jones.
10:16 here, Portland Sports Leader. Don't you forget it. We are live from the shadows of the historic Fremont Bridge. 503-864-6326 is the fan text line. She lets you interact with us throughout the entire day. Send us in your thoughts.
We decided it's a she.
We did.
It's like a boat.
You and I decided it was a she not too long ago. I want to say 6 months ago, maybe.
Yeah. What were we doing then? Were we doing a show?
Baseball show.
I'm not crying. You're crying.
That's my quarterback. That's my teammate. YouTube.com/1051 The Fan. You can come hang out with us there as we are live on that as well. I'm told, mostly because I experienced it, that we're having Odyssey app issues. So there's plenty of other ways.
Yeah,
We've been
you too.
told by corporate that those issues have been resolved.
It is.
This
They are
morning
monitoring the situation.
and continue to monitor closely.
I had to.
It was working.
It was corporate-wide. This was not a local issue. This
Okay.
was beyond our control, so please lay off the producers.
Yeah. This morning,
we had nothing to do with this.
I popped on
Even
the
if it was
YouTube.
local, I don't
make
think
me
you
have to respond on all
No.
the stupid chats.
I'm going to blame Jason Swigart on this one. He's going to fall on the sword.
Well, I pulled up the Odyssey app this morning to listen to my favorite morning program, and that
Me
didn't,
too.
That
You're
didn't
listening to the boys.
in the morning, and that didn't work. So I pulled up the YouTube, and I just took a shower watching Brandon and Andy.
That's hot.
I know, it was really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I think I eventually turned the phone around just to be able to listen. I was like, well, the chat was going too on my feed, and I was like, I want to look at this.
have to scrub a little harder.
A lot of steam. A lot of steam.
A lot of steam. Getting real hot in there.
Yeah, I had to go to the YouTube, but right before I got in, around like 9:15, 9:30ish, somewhere around there, the Odyssey app was working for me. So
We are very lucky to have many different ways and outlets you can listen to these fine
it
programs.
is the Fan Global Sports Network.
It is true. We are the best.
We are international.
A lot to get to this hour. We are obviously going to carve out a ton of time for this Oregon-Penn State game. And honestly, not just because it's a local angle, but because this game was amazing.
Dude.
From start to finish. I think it was funny. To back up, I had this conversation with the brand man Dusty, and I was curious. I was like, why do Notre Dame games look so great on TV? Like, they just have this kind of shade, this tint that looks really good. And he was like, well, a lot of it is because those cameras are stationary and they don't move. They don't have to set up every time. I actually, after watching this game on NBC, think it might be an NBC thing. For some reason, the way their cameras are built, the way things are set up, it really encapsulates the moment. You felt like you were there at State College.
There was definitely part of me, like, it got to like 4:45, and normally I'd be like, can we get this kicked off? But
Totally.
they had such a good, like, NBC in college and NFL, it's the best production in football, full stop.
We had Noah Eagle on the show last week, and then you add him and Todd Blackledge. I thought they were awesome on the call.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it is a A+ broadcast. It was like watching a movie. I mean, in the Ducks post-game show, I had Anthony Newman on, and I just told him, I was like, dude, like, outside of the obvious, Duck fan reasons how great this game was, as a football fan, like, if you didn't have a rooting interest, this was just football in its purest form. Great entertainment, pads popping, big plays back and forth. As soon as you think the game's over, the other team comes back. You get double overtime in one of the best environments of college football. It was just pure nirvana for 4.5 hours.
I know. I think one of the only downsides is that Bama Georgia was on at the same time.
I don't
because I want those yahoos in the South where it just means more to be able to take a look at a Big Ten environment or an ACC environment.
This
and
means
be
a lot too.
Whoa, what they do over there is pretty rad too. Maybe we should, buckle up our haunches and go play Penn State in a night game. Maybe we should do that because the spectacle was fantastic. I thought the fan interaction was not what I expected. Drew Aller taking boos all night, fire Franklin at halftime.
Did you see that offense?
Oh, I know, and we'll get into how the game was, but like the environment was even more than I expected it to be. You expected it to be huge, but as I'm watching Penn State, Oregon on one TV, and I'm watching Georgia and Bama on another, I didn't think Athens had nearly the juice that was running in Pennsylvania.
I mean, I was totally checked out of that Bama Georgia game. I ended up having to catch highlights and read the rest of it afterwards. I saw the pregame. I mean, the pregame pageantry of that was pretty badass too. I mean, they had fireworks and how Georgia does the lights on, lights off, they give you an epileptic seizure basically during the game. It was there, but obviously geographic and rooting interest reasons over here, it was just the Penn State game, Oregon won. It was the marquee matchup. It was one that it was getting hyped up on NBC all week. They were talking about it on Sunday Night Football the week before. That was the main event of the night, plain and simple.
Yeah, and I think one thing that went really, really well, too, was Oregon had some false starts that were caused by the crowd. However,
I think it was
there was
maybe
a couple,
one or two.
I think it was the third.
Most.
I think it was the third quarter where I saw one. It was like, ooh, that's a crowd thing. But what I was super, super impressed, and I talked about this on Friday, was you better not have communication issues. You know what you're walking into. You know what you're going to see. You have to prep for it. And watching the first quarter, seeing I made this joke that the offensive line was going to learn ASL going into this game.
Oh,
did you see them tapping dudes?
Looking back,
like. The right guard would tap the center. The center's directing traffic for the entire offensive line using hand signs.
Yeah.
And then the right guard would tap him on the leg saying Dante's ready.
Yeah.
I thought that was absolutely brilliant. It's what you have to do walking into an environment like that. Just being prepped.
Yeah, it was, and it's just what makes this win for Oregon even more impressive when you have a quarterback who is still very new, not just in the system, but just playing quarterback at a high level and at an important level. I mean, yeah, he had some starts at UCLA, but we saw how that went. I mean, like, this was his first true road test, and you got thrown to the Wolves. And then not only that, but you have freshman running backs, you have freshman wide receivers, you have an offensive line unit going into this year with they're 3 transfers on that offensive line.
Going up against the best defensive player in the nation, not named Caleb Downs.
It's just, to be that prepared for that environment, obviously that goes to the players, but more so goes to coaching. You had that team ready for that moment, and they delivered. It was that was one of the most impressive parts of that game.
And really the only time that Oregon lost their cool was that unnecessary roughness.
So, yep, second guy gets caught.
Yep. Yeah. Alex Harkey had that unnecessary roughness, and that changed the game. But outside of that, discipline-wise, we'll have Tyson Alger on Wednesday, as we always do at 10:30, and we'll, get his thoughts, and we'll look forward a little bit to the Indiana game, but more to the bye. So we'll ask him this question. But that's one of those moments. This team was so well disciplined in this game, I thought. You miss a field goal, okay, that's not the end of the world for me. That, as we watch in college football and in the NFL, it's kind of a plague going around right now. But outside of that unnecessary roughness call, which did let Penn State back in the game, I thought the confidence, the poise, understanding the situation was huge. We spent all week on all 3 shows, and I didn't catch as much primetime last week as I normally do, so I don't know if they necessarily got into it, but I had forgotten because the TV would not let me forget that Dante Moore struggled in his starts at UCLA, and he got benched, and that was kind of their big thing. Sometimes you watch national media, and it's like, oh, do you watch what's going on the West Coast? Sometimes we ask that question. It's almost like you mail it in because it's, we play so late, and I don't want to stay up that late, blah, 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 your East Coast bias. But I'd forgotten that stuff, and it was easy to forget it as you kept watching the team play because they were disciplined. There were no issues whatsoever.
No, and we're gonna get into it. I believe the next segment, but so I don't want to go too far into it. But who's the leader on the team, man? It's always the quarterback. You look at your quarterback, steady hand. I mean, there was moments in maybe it was the third or fourth quarter where Drew Aller looked like he was about to pass out and die right there on the field.
Agreed, dude.
His BPMs, if he had a Fitbit, Apple Watch, or something in there, that was right. His heart was beating out of his chest. It was when they kind of they had that phantom timeout where they called timeout and a stoppage for some reason, and it was like, did Penn State call timeout? No, they didn't. But why are they stopping the game?
That was a really weird moment.
It was when I saw it, I was like, all right, I'm glad that you just gave Drew Aller time to catch his breath because he's looks like he's about to die out there.
Well, to your point on that, he was really discombobulated, and I think he was going huddle.
Yeah.
He was putting his hands together to huddle, but he was going so fast erratically that I think the refs thought he was calling timeout.
Yeah.
But he's actually, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see my hands. That's what he looked like.
Dude,
it's like
he was out out of control.
We laugh about Brandon Marsh, the outfielder for the Phillies, how his stringy long hair is always soaking wet and he just looks like a greasy mess. That was Drew Aller. You could see his hair coming out the bottom of his helmet, and it was a sweatshop under there.
And then just how he was like calling plays, it was almost like he was just yelling them like, all right, trips, right, X, Y slot. Ah!
It was like Gus Johnson on the Big Nooner when he's like, somebody get the ball, the ball's lost, somebody get the ball.
And to his credit, they led the comeback, but the whole entire game, and I said this in the post-game show, I was like, I don't know what sort of meditations they're doing in the quarterback room at Oregon, because you've seen it now with essentially 4 or 5 quarterbacks in a row with Dante, Dylan, Bo Nix, Justin Herbert.
Marcus.
Those guys are as cool as a cucumber the entire time. And whenever it shows them pre-snap, they're just kind of looking around, taking in. All right, looks like they're running man. Okay, there's a mic. 55's a mic right there. Okay, well, let's go score a touchdown. All right, let's convert this third down. It just seems like that every quarterback they've had for damn near a decade or longer is just so poised. And again, I'd just love to know what is the secret sauce down there that they're able to get those guys so locked in and focused year after year.
503-864-6326. This coming in. My 31-24 prediction Friday didn't include OT, but the Aller late INT kryptonite was a lock.
Dude,
I think that's to your point, Joe, and I do want to get into Dante Moore here next. To your point, the entire time I'm being told Dante Moore doesn't have the experience. Look at what happened at UCLA. He got benched, et cetera, et cetera. I always thought Dante was going to be cool and calm. I didn't think the difference between Dante and Drew Aller was going to be that big. And that's honestly a little more of a testament to Drew Aller. We were worried about him not being great in this game, and he was worried about not being good in this game.
Well, we looked up on Sports Saturday like what some of his biggest games were, and like in his career, and he had a big game against Kent State a couple years ago, and then the season opener against West Virginia 2 years ago, and then he had a couple others where he threw for over 290. But every other game, and I'm not even kidding, he has like 4 games where he's thrown over 290 yards. Mm-hmm. Every other game is less than 240 yards. Like it is.
What are you, JJ McCarthy?
Dude, it is just like insane. Going after the both teams started off 4-0 for the season. It was just like, from what I've seen from Dante Moore to start this year and what I've seen from Drew Aller, like I'm rolling with Dante. I know I'm biased. Like, let's not, get it twisted. Like, yeah, very biased over here. Oregon alum, Oregon fan. I get it. But I think everybody, whether it's here locally or around the nation, there is a thing with Drew Aller where people are like, yeah, you're okay, but are you going to get it done? Are you going to actually show up? And me, and I feel like you and everybody who was watching that game felt that he got extremely lucky on a lot of different places.
I mean, that dime touchdown he threw was nice.
That was nice. I will give it that.
You're like, oh, there's the quarterback.
But he had one play in like the first or second quarter where he damn near slipped in the pocket, and then he just threw it up, and it got caught for a first down, 15 yards, and it was like, all right, he can't keep getting away with this. And, again, I think that pick, everybody knew it was going to happen at some point.
It's what separates the elite quarterbacks from the very good quarterbacks. It's, do you throw that pick in time crunch? Let's get to quarterback talk on the Oregon Ducks. A big reason, the poise, the calm, the play calling, all that stuff we'll get into or continue here with Oregon's victory over Penn State. But first, we'll toss it to Swag with sports.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, the Oregon Ducks still enjoying their 30-24 overtime win at Penn State, seeing their name launched to number 2 in the latest AP Top 25 college football rankings. They are behind Ohio State, but ahead of Miami 3. Ole Miss up to 4, Oklahoma up to 5, Penn State falls to 7. The Ducks will enjoy their bye this Saturday and get set to host number 8 Indiana Saturday, October 11th. That kickoff time has been set for 12:30 p.m. at Autzen, and CBS will have the broadcast. Doubleheader tonight to wrap up Week 4 of the NFL slate, 4:15 on ESPN from South Beach. It's the Jets and the Dolphins. Justin Fields has been medically cleared to play for the Jets, expected to start. Dolphins will be 2.5-point favorites. At 5:15, the Broncos host the Bengals. Denver 7.5-point favorites. That one will be on KATU Channel 2. From the NFL, the celebration for the Giants fans after their first win of the season and Jackson Dart's first career NFL start. Short-lived as the team confirmed this morning after an MRI. Wide receiver Malik Neighbors is out for the season with a torn ACL. More sports scores and stories, 30 minutes. Jason Swigard from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt missing work and insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The home of AM.
503-864-6326. The YouTube chat, please welcome any and all of your thoughts on the text line. The best Penn State quarterback on the roster hasn't played since 1987 and was in the booth calling the game.
Ouch.
Ouchie. Ouchie.
Yeah, there's one Penn State quarterback that got a win this weekend. Bo Peribula, baby.
Get it.
Let's go Mizzou Tigers, still undefeated.
On the YouTube chats, Dante had the quietest big game in college football. And I think, and that's where we'll go. We'll start right there. The quietest best game in college football, 29 of 39, 248 yards, 3 tuds, no interceptions, and some scrambling yards. The reason you can say Dante had the quietest big game in college football was he looked the part. Absolutely, from the jump. I was not really a big fan of a lot of the Will Stein play calling in the first half. I thought it was very conservative.
Oh yeah, it was more conservative than my grandpa who lives in middle of nowhere, Missouri.
You can imagine how conservative that is.
Yeah.
Joe Fisher, the first.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Yeah. I felt Will Stein's offense scheme in the first half was very conservative. I thought it opened up in the third quarter. But the reason I think you were allowed to be conservative was, A, the run game looked good. Hey, guess what? We know who the running backs are. You know, we spent 3 weeks talking about, there's 10 guys get touches. It is very clear who the running backs are.
Yeah.
And Lanning knew that going into this game. Stein knew that going into this game. And they established the run, and they were pretty damn good at it. Dante, I really wanted Will Stein to open up Dante in the first half a little more, but I think you get to play with house money even more because your defense was playing lights out. So I think that really helped Dante just be cool, calm, read the room. Don't worry about the fans. Don't worry about getting a first down on third down, because did the Ducks punt?
Once or twice. I think they might have punted once in each half, if I can remember. Because they did punt in that second half after
Two punts.
Yeah, so I think there was one in each half.
Lanning was living in fourth down territory.
Oh my God! He even said after the game, he's like, "I might have to refresh the 4th and 1 play call because we went through the Rolodex on that one."
Yeah, no kidding. And I think a lot of that. I mean, we'll get to the defense here in a moment, but I think a lot of that allowed Dante to settle in, to know that on a 3rd and 6, get 4, get 5. Try to get the 6, even receivers, whether it's with Sadiq or Decorian, like you were able to just run the route. Don't worry about looking where the sticks are, because we know we're going to go, because A, we trust our defense, and B, this offense is going to move. And the offense did move. And as the game progressed, going further down the line, and the playbook started to open up a little more, you started to see Dante become more mobile. There was that great play, I believe, in the 3rd quarter when Dante sees Sutton coming right at him and gets away and throws that dime. Like
that was the overtime, second overtime.
Was that
touchdown.
second overtime?
Yeah.
Sorry. I've got my head is all over the place in Dante. I am unbelievably impressed with him.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that because we're the home of the Ducks. Like, you guys know me. I am no duck honk. There is not a quarterback in college football that played better this weekend than Dante Moore.
Well, again, we talked
Zeviak House, but
there.
I
That was, as far as I know, I'd have to go back and look at his UCLA starts. That was his toughest environment that he's had to play in. And
dare I say the toughest environment any Duck quarterback has ever played in.
Yeah. It's just, and the way that he just looked calm, cool, collected the entire time. And I'm with you. On that first half, I was just like, dude, can we open it up a bit more? But that's why I think we're not getting paid as offense coordinators, and they are. Will Stein and head coach Lanning is just like, we can move the ball. We're running the ball. There were a couple drives, like you had a missed field goal, and then you had a 4th down that you didn't get by a half of a hair of an inch. And so, like, you obviously want to finish off those drives, but they were able to consistently get the ball down the field. And then in the second half, and, give credit to Penn State's defense, too. Like, it's
nasty.
They had Dante Moore having to move out of the pocket and scramble and run a little bit, and that goes to their secondary that they have. That goes to that defensive front that they have. I mean, it was a good defensive look from them as well. But I think that Dante, when the plays were needed, he made them. He had that one boot out play where he threw across his body to Kenyon Sadiq, and that ended up going for a big gain.
Such a huge throw.
The play on 3rd down where he booted it out and just floated it to Decorian Moore, which he just had to just snag it and hold that with his fingertips and his hands as hard as possible.
It was kind of a moon ball. There wasn't a ton of zip on it. It had to be floated right in that spot.
He hits that, and then you mentioned it, the play in the double overtime, man, where he boots out and denied Dennis Sutton, one of the best, if not best, defensive players, at least edge rushers in the country, is right there, ready to just take a sack and make one of the biggest plays of the night. And he just sidesteps him. He goes flying by, hits Gary Bryant Jr., who then gets 10 yards of yak for a touchdown. I mean, it was just, he was unflappable. And I think that, not just his performances leading up to this. I mean, he had 300 yards against the Beavs, but this one was his best game. There was one sack that he got or I don't think he got sacked at all.
I do not believe so.
No, I don't think.
Sorry,
Now that I refresh my own memory, he had a really dirty jersey. Maybe that's why.
It was that play when he slid out of bounds, and it looked like he was on a slip and slide. I think Noah Eagle said he was on a slip and slide over there.
Yeah,
that's what got him all dirty. There's a ton to compare between Franklin and Lanning in this game. I think if you're watching this game before the 4th quarter, the score does not really dictate what's going on. And I think Lanning and company were able to stick to the script despite the points not showing their game plan being successful. I think a lot of that has to do with the running game being great, but a lot of it had to do with Lanning, who always trusts his guys, always backs his guys. I mean, I know you can say that about all college coaches, but Lanning truly believes that and preaches it. He knew that even though the score did not dictate it, that everything was okay because of Dante. I really believe that, because he knew that guy on the field wasn't going to make a mistake. He wasn't scared, because that defense, that Penn State defense, is nasty.
Yeah, and that's, again, go back to that first half, is that They didn't press. They didn't get overzealous. They didn't make a bad play, bad pass downfield that was unnecessary. And he came away relatively mistake free. I mean, really the only thing I can think of is maybe on that 4th and 1, 4th and 2 that they got stopped on, where he tried to do a spin move a little bit earlier than he should have, and then got stopped there. There was maybe 1 or 2 bad throws that I can remember, but outside of that, man, it's just when you are in a huddle and all eyes are on you and you are in that environment, and for you to deliver the way that you have, especially after, kind of the career arc that you've had, it just speaks absolute volumes about him, the freshmen on this team on both sides of the ball, the offensive line. But again, all eyes are on you in that huddle. And that is a very intimidating moment for an individual to have all of the guys looking at you. All right, what are we doing, boss? What do we, what lead us?
Yep.
What do we got? What do we got to do here? And he delivered, man. It was awesome. Awesome all around for Dante Moore and this Ducks team.
We're going to get to this fun game in the 12 o'clock hour of what did we learn in college football this weekend. There is something that I will tell you when we come back that is something I very much learned in college football. It starts on that defense. It starts with Dan Lanning. And is this the most complete team we've seen in college football so far? We'll talk a little more Ducks before we slide into some other stuff. Stick with us. Don't go anywhere. A lot more to get to as the Oregon Ducks defeat Penn State and are now number 2 in the AP poll. This is 105.1 The Fan.
AM.
Coming up in hour number 2 of the show, we will take a little hiatus from this Ducks game. We'll get into a little baseball, some more college football, a little NFL stuff, plus web gems at 11:45 like we always do. A big shout out to Jason Swigart on the ones and twos today, helping us out as Rusty is out sick. And my best friend, Joe Fisher, sitting in with me today as Danny Marang is at Blazer Media Day.
You tell people that we're best friends?
No, I only said that now to make you feel good.
Okay. I was going to say, I think that's a one-way street we're on then, but speak for yourself. Like I said, you've changed, man. You've changed.
Oh, big timey.
Yeah. Oh, what's your name? Joe Fisher? Yeah, I think I remember you.
Joe, you're
we did a show together for 10 years.
Joe Fisher the fourth, right? Medium Joe, that's you.
No, the third. The third.
503-864-6326, the fan text line. We'll welcome all your thoughts after this big game of Oregon defeating Penn State in double overtime, jumping to number 2 in the nation. I'll read some texts here. We learned Oregon's freshman studs are legit. That is a fact.
They just, I said it last segment, I was like, the freshmen on both sides of the ball, man, they have not, like, just ice in their veins. That's one of the most impressive parts about this team is that they're depending on a lot of new faces this year, not just freshmen, just new guys in general, and they're all stepping up to the challenge.
Of the players that, if you asked me who was I most concerned about on the Oregon offense going into this game, I would have said DeCorian Moore. Just a true freshman in that environment. Just how are you going to handle it? And it was either the third or the fourth quarter. It was probably after that pass you were mentioning that he got up and just had to hold on to it. Todd Blackledge said the name Jeremiah Smith, and I was like, whoa, here we are. And at first, it kind of took me back. I was like, Jeremiah Smith's the best wide receiver in the nation, maybe the best football player in the nation. But you got a little point here?
Yes.
I was impressed.
The way I mean, he probably doesn't have the eye-popping numbers to start, but he's had a few games now. And again, like, he was the number 1 receiver this weekend at Penn State. I mean, it's not like playing at Champaign, Illinois, but,
who can fault anybody for that?
But he delivered at Happy Valley in State College, a second fiddle Big Ten away game. But, it's just, I could lament about him all day long and the freshmen and how they've been able to deliver and step up.
My concern going into this Ducks season was QB. They didn't have an experienced dude a la Bo and Dylan. That concern was laid to rest on Saturday. Dante's the real deal, poised in the pocket, can escape in and make plays, and most importantly, knows when to give up on a play and live to fight another day. Great text.
Yeah.
Great text.
Like I said, that's where I just wonder. I'm like, what the hell are they doing in Eugene in this quarterback room to get these guys just so ready? Like,
it's the drugs Lanning's on, man. Just pass them out.
It's the football drugs. Maybe Dusty's hanging out with them too much.
Ooh, Dusty getting back into his old business?
Who knows?
And the time's right.
Sure looks like it.
Tough economy these days, man.
That halftime report. All right, nice talking to you, Coach. By the way, here you go. Hey, take this key real quick.
Dude, you been to a grocery store lately, man? S is expensive. I get it. The unsung hero of this game, and I think, as we've alluded to the entire time, but I want to spend a moment and give them some flowers. The big reason why Dan Lanning, Will Stein, and Dante Moore were able to continue to do their game plan, despite the scoreboard not showing what it was, is that defense is a complete package. I don't know if they're as good as LSU. I don't know if they're as good as Ohio State, but that team can go toe-to-toe with anybody. There are concerns in the Penn State offense. There are concerns with Drew Aller. There are concerns with Franklin down the stretch. I get all of that. Those came to existence because of what they saw and what they saw early on from that Oregon defense. Washington, that entire D-line, Tuiyoto in the third quarter was just a man-child. That defense was really, really, really nice.
It seemed like every series there was someone different stepping up and making a play. Like Bear Alexander, he's like, you know what, I'm going to shut this down for a whole series. And then the next one, it's like, all right, Tuiyoto, he's got this one. And then Mateo, the whole game, is making plays. And
I can't believe I haven't said Mateo yet.
Yeah, I think this was a game that Tosh Lapoy needed to have a great defensive setup. And yes, that fourth quarter did happen. There were the letdowns. Now, granted, I will say that second drive in the fourth quarter where they had to tie it, how many times was it 3rd and 1, 3rd and 6, 4th and 1, and it was just one more stop, guys. And they just weren't able to get it, and Drew Aller is ripping off runs, and you're like, oh my God, please. But for 85% of that game, that defense was lights out. And that is what a lot of Duck fans were wanting to see from Tosh Lupoi in this unit because of how it ended last year in the Big Ten championship game and in the Rose Bowl. It's like you gave up 90 points in 2 games. You let them run for almost 300 yards in the Big Ten championship game. You shut that run down better than just about any team you played this year. And that is 2 of the best running backs, the best running back room in the college. Like, that was
maybe the second best after what I saw.
That was a statement game, obviously, from the Ducks. But if Dan Lanning's about as happy and high off of this win, Tosh Lupoi's got to be even happier.
I'm right there with you. I have been not critical, but I have been a little out on Tosh Lupoi throughout the season so far. Just kind of it just feels like such a Lanning-led defense to me that I was kind of maybe justifiably so, maybe unjustifiably so, not giving Tosh enough credit for what he's done on the defense. But that was his coming out party. I think, we've talked at length about, what kind of job is Will Stein going to get? Is Oklahoma State interested in Will Stein? Can Oregon State get Will Stein? And I've sat here and I will continue to say there are better jobs on the horizon for Will Stein. Tosh Lupoi, I kind of felt was like, you might be a product of a system. You might be a product of the head honcho in charge. But the energy he showed on the sideline, the calm coolness, look, asking that defense to play at that high of a level for 4 quarters and 2 overtimes is very, very difficult. But I will argue, after seeing, we've talked about that offense at length, and after seeing this defense play, I think this is the most complete team in football, and it starts on the defensive line. It just does. The stat sheet might not fill up. It might not be 6 sacks a game and 4 interceptions a game, but that D-line is constantly in the kitchen and constantly making that O-line work, and I don't think it gets enough credit.
Well, and it was classic football pregame, prediction. I think this game's going to be won in the trenches, but this game was that. Like, it was, how is this defensive line going to look? Are they going to be able to get pushed? How's this offensive line going to look? Are they going to be able to move around this defensive front of Penn State? And they both did that. But going into the season, I would say that if there was one part of this Ducks team that fans and people that knew this team were most optimistic about, it was that defensive front. You had Mateo coming back. Bear Alexander, while this is his 8th stop, it seems like, in college. You knew the talent that you had there. Amari Washington, God, imagine if he would have had that pick early in the game when Drew Aller, he kind of booted out right and then threw it back to, I don't know if it was Allen or Singleton or whoever, and then Amari Washington was right there. Mm-hmm. He was right there, and it just went right over his fingertips, but it threw the play off. It threw off the timing where the receiver had to, wait a second to make sure that this wasn't going to get batted in the air, and then the guys rallied there. And then even just the linebacking core, that the front 7 of Oregon is the thing that people had the most. Bryce Betcher coming back.
Dude, we haven't even mentioned him. He had 12 tackles.
Yeah. I mean, I think most of them were assisted, but again,
totally, but he was there.
He flies around,
every
dude.
Play.
He flies around. I mean, he's going to go down as an Oregon legend just because of obviously, him being, dual sport and just being a stud linebacker. But the defensive front is, again, the unit that I think everybody had the most confidence coming into this season.
And you saw why.
Also, you saw a couple games this year, though, with Northwestern, and then that one drive with Oregon State where it was like, all right, are these guys going to be up for the challenge against Penn State? And they delivered, 100% delivered.
Mm-hmm. And I think when you talk about how things started to go down at the end of the 4th, and your defense kind of turned into they were complete stoppers, and then turned into a bend, don't break. I think a lot of that is also the caged animal of Penn State. It was the first time the entire game Penn State showed the positive sides of desperation. I kind of said, when you get desperate, are you a caged animal or are you a scared animal? And I think we finally saw, now it was probably a little too late, and that could be on Franklin, but I think that offense knew, dude, this is about to get real bad if we don't do something. And more often than not, offenses can pull that out and continue. Like I said, it is hard to play defense at that high of a level for all 4 quarters and 2 overtimes. Penn State got desperate. Drew Aller threw a dime touchdown to get them back in the game, and that's just how it had to go down.
I'm looking at
But even in the end, there's Thieneman.
Yeah.
There he is. And the game is over.
Yeah.
The game is over. Adios.
That last drive to tie up the game, I'm looking at it right now. The Penn State converted a 3rd and 9. They converted a 4th and 1. They converted a 4th and 1 again, and they converted a 3rd and 1. So there was just, again, multiple times.
Up against it.
And that final drive, we were like, please just get this last stop, which you've been basically doing all day. And unfortunately, that drive, they weren't able to do it that time, but they made the plays when they needed to put themselves into position to win that game. And that last play of the game with Thieneman and that interception, I talked with you about this game. I am not crazy about that play for Penn State. Like, let's have 3-4 receivers all on the short side of the field and have everything congested. Like, God, it seemed like if Thieneman wasn't going to get that pick, 2 other guys could have gotten it right there. There was so many white jerseys in that area that I just, to me, Andy Kudelnicki is a great offensive coordinator, but that time I was just like, I am not a fan of that play call at all.
We'll put a pin in this and revisit the Ducks defeating Penn State in the noon hour. But let's take a little break from this. And I got Joe here, so we're going to talk a little bit of baseball.
Of course.
Baseball playoffs are set.
Best time of year.
They start tomorrow. This truly is the best time of year. Plus Georgia, Bama, and that situation going on there. And the what do we make of the Ravens? There's a lot to get to in the second hour. So stick with us. We're having a good time. I'm Patrick. That's Joe Fisher, 105.1 The Fan.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on The Fan, the Oregon Ducks get to enjoy their bye week after taking down then number 3 Penn State 30-24 in overtime on the road. They vault to number 2 in the latest AP Top 25 college football poll behind Ohio State, ahead of Miami, Ole Miss, and Oklahoma. Then they will return to action October 11th at Autzen Stadium, hosting number 8 Indiana, and that kickoff time has been set for 12:30 p.m. local time. After getting blown out by Notre Dame Saturday, Arkansas fired head coach Sam Pittman, named Bobby Petrino the interim head coach, and his first move was to fire 3 more defensive assistants, hoping to turn things around. A doubleheader to wrap up Week 4 of the NFL slate starts at 4:15 in South, beats Jets and Dolphins. Justin Fields medically cleared and expected to start for New York. The Fish are 2.5, well, now 3-point favorites. At 5:15, it's the Broncos hosting the Bengals. Denver 7.5-point favorites. That one's on KATU Channel 2. The celebration for Giants fans following the first win of the season and Jackson Dart's first career start, short-lived. The team confirming the morning after an MRI revealed wide receiver Malik Neighbors is out for the season with a torn ACL. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigard from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Sports Saturday. Fan.
All right, welcome into hour number 2. You missing the first hour, you can download that, the Fan Podcast, at 1051thefan.com. Sounds like the Odyssey app is back up and working. You can use that, fast forward, rewind chapters, except for into the future. That would be impossible. You can do the same over at youtube.com/1051thefan. Catch previous shows, catch us live, rewind, fast forward, except for, well, in the future, because that would be impossible.
You know, if Jason Swigard's going to take the heat for the app not working,
Which he should.
he's going to get the credit for getting the app up and going. Atta baby,
USA!
Swag.
USA!
I saw him back there on the laptop. He was
Saw him on the horn with corporate.
Oh yeah,
This
exactly.
is unacceptable.
S or get off the pot. All right.
A lot of Duck stuff still to get to. We'll circle back on that at noon, including some thoughts of you guys on the text line. You know, the Indiana game looks really weird now. If you're looking at rankings, talking about freshmen, how good they will by the end of the season.
College game day.
College game day, maybe.
College game day?
I mean, I haven't looked at that week, but I would think if Indiana comes out unscathed this week, right? Indiana plays this week.
They have a bye week.
They're both on buys.
Both on bye.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I haven't looked at the schedule in 2 weeks, so I don't know what other games are going on. But it's still going to be 2 versus 7 or whatever Indiana's all the way
2
up to
versus
now.
8, unless
2 versus 8.
maybe someone 3 through 7 falls.
Ohio State
Ohio State's
loses?
at Illinois. That is
Dude,
a ranked matchup.
Champagne's a tough place to play,
I was going to
man.
say, I mean, there's Happy Valley and then there's
No,
Champaign.
it's-
Okay.
I'd rather be at Happy Valley than Champagne.
It's the Red River rivalry.
Dude, Bielema,
Ow! Come on.
Oklahoma and Texas.
no
in the-
Mateer.
in the
That
state.
game has no juice now.
Yeah. Those are your 3 ranked matchups.
Somehow
Oklahoma, Texas, Indiana at Oregon, Ohio State at Illinois.
Somehow Texas doesn't play, and we're less excited about Texas.
Yeah.
We think they're even worse.
Well, it cracked me up during halftime of the Ducks Penn State game. They were doing the NBC broadcast, and they were talking about other games going on. And Chris Sims, who just had to pay attention to college football for one day, like Kirk Herbstreit has to pay attention to NFL for one day.
Hey, Kirk's job is a lot harder because Al Michaels isn't even paying attention the one day he has to.
Well, yeah, Kirk's job is hard because he cares about college football and hanging out with his dog at the rest of the week.
He also really likes money.
Well, I don't blame him. But no, Chris Sims was on the broadcast at halftime, and he's like, I don't know, one team that I think people need to watch out for is Oklahoma. And I was like, and then someone was like, John Mateer is out for the next 4 weeks or something. And he's like, well, still, I think,
Venables have really got something going there.
Hey, I hope Oklahoma wins that game.
If I were
I like Brent Venables.
If I were game day, I'd be at Ohio State, Illinois. You know, I don't want to play Illinois right now.
Also, when you look at the schedule, it's like, what other Oregon game at home do you have the opportunity to go to?
And if you're talking pageantry and stuff, the no Mateer thing, no Mateer plus Arch Manning is better than Oregon, Indiana. I don't know about that.
Well, Signetti is a character too. Like for Indiana, like I don't know. Let's give.
Is it that you don't want to be up at 4 a.m. on the West Coast?
I'm going to step out of this one. I'm biased. All right.
All right, we'll put that aside.
It could be you're going to have two of the leading Heisman favorites in Mendoza and Moore.
And Dante Moore. That's not going to change in a bye week.
I don't know what else you need. So unless they
let the big nooner have the Red River rivalry.
You can do the Red River. It's really hard. You can do that any other year. Literally any other year. This
Unless
Oregon
they're
Indiana
already
one's
locked
unique.
into it for some reason.
Yeah.
Like they predetermined that one.
Well, I thought they were going to go to Miami, Florida State this weekend, but they're going to Bama for Vanderbilt. I think I saw that this morning. Game day's going to Bama Vandy.
That's undefeated and ranked Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
My Vanderbilt. National championship or
And it is in Bama. Yeah, because last year Vanderbilt, they tore the field goal post down.
They ended
threw
up
him
in
the river.
Cumberland River, I believe.
That's so awesome.
I love it.
How far is the river?
It's not far.
It's right downtown. Yeah, I think
the river goes right through downtown.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Willamette, right through Portland.
There's Palouse Creek in Pullman. If you took the field goal post there,
we got a creek.
The creek is not as wide as the stable.
It would probably just
it would not fit
stick
one
up
goal
out of the
post.
creek. It wouldn't even float.
No, the Cumberland River is a real river.
But the fact that it's really close, I don't care if it's really close or the size of a Willamette and right there, you took the goalpost to a river?
Yeah.
Like, that's good coordination on some
Damn
drunk
right
college students.
Hell yeah.
Did you get the engineering department in on that one? Guys, I got this idea. If we win, what do you think? What are the logistics we need to get this goalpost into the river?
Well, if you carry the 1 and add the 15 divided by 6,
the physics
it
of
takes
the
35
goalpost.
guys to just drag that son bee all the way over.
What material is the goalpost made of?
Carbon fiber.
Will it float?
It's Major League Baseball playoff time, and it's one of my favorite times of the year because we get sports on all day.
Yeah, it's kind of gives me that March Madness vibes.
Tomorrow there's a game at 10, noon, 3, and 6.
Right into my veins, dude.
God,
West Coast is so great at being a sports fan. Like the fact
sometimes.
No, all the time.
No, because I watch a lot of Premier League, and when my team plays at 4:30 in the morning, I'm not doing
This is America.
that.
Okay. We only care about American sports here. But yeah, I mean, getting playoff baseball at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday, dude, all day. Give it to me.
Also, I love these matchups. I really love these matchups. I mean, anytime you get division rivals in a series against each other,
I was gonna say,
sign me up.
I like the AL matchups more than the NL, but I know you're excited about the NL because your boy Tito,
all he does is win.
Did you?
All he does is go to the playoffs.
I don't know who it was for the Reds.
I think it was Abbott, their pitcher, who was losing his mind. Like he had Dan Lanning drugs in his vein with a cigar.
You can't kill the rats, baby. We need to find that audio from him in the locker room celebrating because that was. And then if you haven't seen it, you need to see him dancing in the clubhouse after when they're celebrating because it is the ultimate white guy at a wedding dance ensemble I've ever seen. And he just did not stop. He just kept going. He broke out every move possible.
Swag, you scared about them fighting Franconas in Cincinnati, taking on that
frightened.
abysmal bullpen you've got going?
The bullpen, I'm going to be watching through my fingers covering my eyes. Like, I hope Sasaki. I am surprised they left Kershaw off the wild card. I thought they would use him in the bullpen.
Me too. With the amount of issues Tanner Scott's been going through and even Trinan now.
Kershaw's the guy, if you have a starter go out there and not have it and have to come out in the 4th inning.
He's your guy.
Kershaw's the dude. Now, maybe they're going to use Ohtani in the wild card because you won't need a 4th starter. So it'll be
doors maybe
Yamamoto and Snell and Glasnow, I believe, will be the 3 starters if they need to go 3.
That's filthy.
And they're going to push them as hard, let them go. But yeah, getting the final, 6 to 9 outs is just going to be a white knuckle ride of epic proportion.
It's everything you kind of want in baseball, okay? Coming into this, starting tomorrow.
I'm glad we're getting the Yankees-Red Sox nonsense out of the way in the wild card, and I don't have to be nauseated with all the stuff from production and announcers. Just 3 games, great. Get it out of the way early. Boom. Then we're on to whoever.
And I don't like either of those teams' chances against the Blue Jays either. So we might be writing both of them off.
Well, the only thing is that's a divisional thing.
I know.
So you never know.
I will say though,
The Padres Cubs will probably that has a chance
that's
to be
offense.
the best.
That's fireworks.
The most fun series to watch.
I wish that was the night game in Chicago, not the day
They're
game.
playing day games at Wrigley. And when you had LA, you weren't gonna LA was gonna make
I
sure they
know.
got evening games.
I know.
I think we do have to take a second though and give Patrick Harris a round of applause.
I will give myself a round of
boys
applause
did it.
here. We did it.
One, not only for your Cleveland Gardens winning the division, but the fact that you did not tear up your A ticket in mid-July or
When we were
whenever the hell
15 and a half
15 and a
games
half back.
and
And they were 42 and 48.
We were at Fan Madness. I put 20 down on Cleveland to win the division.
I
plus
remember that.
300.
I remember we talked about it. I remember going into this, the AL Central, we were like, dude, there's like 4 teams. I think
We were picked to finish 4th.
and I think the Twins were like on Fangraphs the best odds.
picked to
like,
win it.
You go in and cash that ticket yet?
No, I'm going up tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going up tomorrow.
Yeah, just Patrick, I'm so proud of you.
I think
because
I'm gonna-
that is a
You
resolve.
taking the wheelbarrow with you right out in front?
That is
just
a
to carry-
resolve.
Doing the waddle?
Just to carry my junk.
Yeah, that's
There
right.
you go.
All Randy March style.
That is a resolve that you see out of teams that go to Happy Valley and win, not Champaign,
Not Champaign,
For
Illinois.
the love of God,
For the love, nobody expects that.
That is just tough. But
Save all that for tomorrow.
the
Save
fact
what for tomorrow?
I don't know what you're talking about. Illinois is just an absolute
Juggernaut.
juggernaut. okay?
Bielema, coach of the year.
But dude, I texted you like a week or so ago. I was like, "Tell me you have your ticket, please."
Well, because I had
would have torn that bitch up real early.
Well, remember I had Yankees under 92 and a half last season.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
tore it up, and they actually won 93 or 94 games. It got really close in the end because I picked the under, and I got real scared that I was about to be out on money. But it's really exciting. I think San Diego, Chicago could be a home run offensive juggernaut.
Obviously, we'll be watching the Tigers Guardians, not just for the Guardians, but that series feeds to the Mariners.
Yep,
Can we get
and
get an on-air crash out from Patrick Harris?
If Cleveland goes through in that, I'm going to Seattle at some point. And
all of them are at 10 a.m. too.
and if I get flack from the boss, so be it.
Well,
I'm going.
The games in Seattle
Should be this
one
weekend.
1 and 2 will be Saturday and Sunday.
I'm looking at that Sunday game. Sunday game.
So it'll
Can't
be if it goes to a game 5, it'll be back here on I want to say the following Thursday.
I think I have to use my winnings on AL Central Division winners 2025 merch.
yeah,
Hat,
right.
T-shirt.
Just to recognize
a
I won
jersey,
money.
if you will.
I won money on this.
Can you get a Brian
And-
Rocchio
and I'm-
jersey?
oh,
and I
God.
can afford
I-
the $50 T-shirt at the fan shop.
I hate Brian Rocchio so
Hey,
much.
You got to go Manzardo. I mean, a Coug, a pickle.
It's pretty a mustache.
Yes. Come on.
You know what tempted me the other day? I was digging around the Guardians shop. They have a bunch of super discounted Shane Bieber stuff.
Oh.
I'm so tempted. I loved Biebs.
I know you
He
did.
won a Cy Young for us.
I know.
He's in the long list of Cy Young winners in the last 25 years.
I just can't wait for you guys to sweep the Mariners. That is just going to be.
Oh man, I would feel so bad, dude. If we
I
beat,
would laugh.
dude, if we beat the Mariners,
We are laughing.
if we beat the Mariners, I like us against Toronto. That means we're going to the World Series.
There's part of me that one of two
Get out of here.
one of two things I want for the Mariners.
I don't like us against the Mariners. I don't think we stack up.
I
well.
either want the Mariners to get swept immediately or go and win it
or
all.
win the
win
the whole
I don't
thing.
want any in between. All right, either just either flame out spectacularly or go and win it all.
Well, baseball is going to be a lot of fun, and I'm excited. You can listen to this show every single day at 10 a.m. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
You'll be able to hear.
I'll be on the TV.
The playoffs over on 910.
Oh yeah, you can slide over to 910
I'm
and catch
trying
those.
to figure out because the games overlap, so I
Oh.
gotta figure out how we're slotting stuff in.
Well, I'll be in the sales bullpen. I'm going to have the TV on, and I'm going to be listening to you.
Thanks, buddy.
Or you're just going to see me look through the window after every play, after every big play. Just
Detroit's going to be at Cleveland, which will be a tough environment. Not as tough as Champaign, Illinois, though.
No, it isn't.
No, it isn't. All right, when we come back, let's slide over back into college football. Boy, Kirby's got a Bama problem, and it's real. When does that stop? We'll get to that next. 105.1 The Fan. Coming up in the noon hour, we'll get back into some Oregon Duck chatter, but we want to take a little break from that. Georgia has a Bama problem, and I think we see this a lot in sports. I'm going to ask you the question in our next little seggy. Do the Ravens have a Bama problem? Sometimes there are just teams that I try to live in a world where it's like, this team hasn't won at College Station since 1965, and it's a culture. I'm like, dude, none of these coaches were alive the last time you're talking about this. Like, I don't always believe that, if you always lose to Bama, you're just destined to always lose to Bama, because coaches change, players change, the rules change, recruiting changes, the playoff changes. But if there's anything that tells me I'm an idiot and that is an incorrect statement, it's that it's George Kirby. It's that Kirby Smart has
maybe he can get it done.
Kirby Smart has an Alabama problem.
Yeah,
I think Georgia is a better team than Alabama.
Yes. Now, I just find it funny that it's like, this is what Georgia fans have to complain about because they won 2 championships.
That's
and
what
it
is.
It's been a pretty solid run for you guys.
But they have 7.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it is.
Yeah. Well,
the only time 2 is not good enough is when your rival has 6 or 7.
Well, and the fact that you could have had 3.
Totally.
And the third one was against Alabama.
Totally.
So, like, I understand. Like, that would drive me nuts, even if, like, my favorite NFL team is the Cowboys, and say, like, they won a couple Super Bowls.
Well, let's take the 90s, for example. Niners-Cowboys was the rivalry.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, in today's day and age, like, say, like, the Cowboys won even just one Super Bowl, but they lost 8 matchups to the Eagles, either leading up to or after. It would get pretty damn annoying.
They didn't have to go through them in the playoffs.
Or they lost to them in the NFC Championship one time, and then they ended up going and winning it. It's like, that would drive me absolutely bonkers as well.
There was so much of this game that reminded me of Bama, Georgia of old. It looked like a defensive punch fest for a little bit. The run game for Georgia was insane. Bowens, that kid, that is a man amongst boys.
Yeah, they needed that too. I think that Georgia, like, the last couple of years, they haven't had that classic Georgia running back bell cow. So to them have a good rushing performance was nice.
Similar to Dante Moore, but in a little different ways. Boy, I did not have Ty Simpson looking as good as he did.
Dude,
his stat line isn't
amazing. If you play
amazing.
college football video games, Ty Simpson's the best quarterback that has ever lived.
Is he?
Dude, that guy is so annoying.
In 2K, they've got him a 98.
Whenever I think Joe Fisher III is the leading Heisman candidate, I jump in there and Ty Simpson, for some reason, just has another ungodly game. I'm like, what the hell?
Danny and I have spent all season lamenting about how bad quarterback play has been, whether it's Nussmeier, Klubnik.
It's been very underwhelming.
Drew Aller. I mean, don't get me started on Julian Sand. Danny and I will touch that game tomorrow. Ty Simpson has entered the Heisman candidate. He has entered the Heisman chat.
Yeah.
With how he played. Look, his stat line isn't great, but I also hear a lot of people, including my co-host Danny Marang, kind of bemoaning Dante Moore's stat line. I think we're in a year right now where it's not stat line and it's moxie. And Ty Simpson, after a really bad showing against Florida State, and the sky is falling in Tuscaloosa, and get DeBoer out of there, people starting GoFundMes for a $70 million buyout. Ty Simpson and Kalen DeBoer did what Kalen DeBoer does, and that's win those big games. And Ty Simpson, while his stats might not look good, was very smart with the football, ran when he needed to, and really knew the stakes, the level of that rivalry, and what a win was not even going to just do for their program, but save his job, his coach's job, and that entire fan base. Like, what's Legend saying on Feinbaum today? Georgia is losers, and we knew it. Because of Ty Simpson. Ty Simpson, I don't know Dante from Shantae. Like he's yelling stuff like that or whatever. I'm just
I thought he was in the room with us. I looked away for a second.
I'm just making fun of him. But the game comes down to Ty Simpson wanted that game more than Gunnar Stockton, more than Kirby, and Kirby's got a Bama problem. It's almost like he's the best coach in college football, and he sees that crimson on a helmet with a number on it, and it's like, as I like to say, poops his pants wearing shorts.
Yeah, trickles down his leg. Yeah, no, I mean, Ty Simpson, we talked about Dante Moore's poise. I mean, you go in between the hedges, like I said, and they're firing off fireworks, and they got a rabid fan base as well. Those dude with the spiky shoulder pads and everything. Those
What
psychopaths.
is this, the black hole?
Yeah, it's insane there. And quite honestly, they probably should have won this by an extra possession. I mean,
I
he had
agree.
that bomb to Ryan Williams that he just flat out dropped. Ty Simpson looked very, very good, very efficient, impressive in the first half at least, because the Georgia defense held Alabama to 0 points in the second half. But he kind of did it all. And again, just I think that it goes to show too, like he stayed at Alabama. Like he did not transfer and go for it. He has been waiting for his opportunities, his turn, and that's banking on yourself and knowing that you can be the guy there. And he has shown up. I said earlier last week, though, I was like, watch, Alabama's going to run the table in the SEC and end up winning the conference, and then they get a first-round bye, and then it's just a classic Alabama season. And if that happens, shoot me, please. Ice pick, lobotomy to the head.
Look, I don't know if it's a UW thing here in Oregon territory. Does this ease off some of our complaints on Kalen DeBoer, or do we still need to see a playoff appearance and more wins? Or is this just, as Brandon points out on the YouTube chat, or does Alabama have a bullying Georgia problem? You know, because DeBoer's taken a ton of heat this year, took a ton last year, and he feels like an easy punching bag, myself included. I am not a DeBoer guy.
Dude, rightfully
so. And
so.
it's not because he was a Husky. It's because 2 years in a program where you're riding the coattails on some guys that were already brought in. Sure, you did the transfer portal decent, and you're kind of failing up a little bit. You had Michael Penix and 2 wide receivers that went in the first round. You know, yeah, I'm going to be good with that too. So I've never been a big DeBoer guy, but I got to give it to him. He won this game, and he did it doing what he always does. He's undefeated in the black hoodie.
Yeah. Well,
And I want to know, when do we stop giving him grief about it?
It's when this season comes to an end and they win the SEC. Like he's gonna the standard at Alabama has been set. You go there to win national championships. You go there to be an elite team, plain and simple, full stop, period. And if you are not doing that, and you are losing games you should not lose, that is when that's when you're gonna have to answer a lot of questions. That's when you're gonna have to face the music. Looking at their schedule right now, their road schedule, they got to go to Mizzou. Oh, no. You got to go to Columbia, Missouri. I'm shaking in my boots if I'm Alabama. You got to go to South Carolina, who right now they're unranked. They're not who they were at the start of the season. Still got some good players, but
Lenore's had a ton of hiccups talking about quarterback play.
And then you have to go to Auburn at the end of the year, where Auburn is, they give Texas A&M a good fight this weekend.
Sure did.
Good defense.
Gave Ole Miss a fight last week.
And then you still have an SEC slate.
Or Oklahoma, sorry.
But all your tough games, you're basically playing them at home.
The Oklahoma material will be back by then.
Yeah,
So you get
November
them at
15th.
home.
You're going to have
You get
LSU
at home.
Which, if you see their offense, woof, you got to be feeling good about that. And then you'll play Tennessee, who, they've had to escape a few games this year. They almost beat Georgia, but you just beat Georgia, so transitive property. You got to be feeling good about that.
Feel good.
But DeBoer, he will not have people off his back until they get through this slate of SEC football and have either an SEC championship appearance or just winning it straight up.
It's the perfect storm of controversy in the sense that he's already not really liked, and he has maybe the most impossible job I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I mean, it is one of those, again,
I don't know if there's a bigger impossible job I've ever seen.
If you are losing more than one game regular season, you are considered a failure there. And again, you cannot lose any of these games. You go to South Carolina and lose, dude, he's going to catch hell for that. You almost lost to South Carolina at home last year. If lose
Pavia
to
walks in on game day and beats you again,
if you lose to Vanderbilt twice and back, losing to Vanderbilt once was almost enough for people to call for his job already.
That Vanderbilt lost is borderline Michigan App State.
Yeah,
that's how much we laughed about it.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to have a clean rest of the season. Plain and simple.
Does Georgia have a Bama problem? Do the Ravens have a Bama problem? We'll get to a little bit of NFL today. What? Not a lot, but I'll tell you what I mean when we get there. We'll do that next, but first, we'll toss it to Swag with sports.
Now, Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, the Ducks 30-24 overtime win at Penn State, vaulting them to number 2 in the new AP Top 25 college football rankings. Ohio State still number 1, then Miami 3, Ole Miss 4, Oklahoma 5, Penn State drops to 7. Ducks will enjoy the bye this Saturday and then get set to host number 8 Indiana on October 11th. Kickoff time just announced earlier today, 12:30 p.m. from Autzen, and CBS will have that broadcast. Doubleheader tonight, wrapping up week 4 of the NFL slate. First up from South Beach at 4:15, Jets and Dolphins on ESPN. Justin Fields medically cleared to play for New York. He is expected to start a quarterback. Dolphins 3.5 favorites. 5:15 kick on KATU Channel 2 from Denver. Broncos hosting the Bengals. And Denver 7.5-point favorites there. Giants fans not celebrating very long their first win of the season, as news came this morning. An MRI did confirm wide receiver Malik Neighbors will be out for the season with a torn ACL. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigard from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The home of the firm of Harris and Marang. Weekdays 10 to 1. The Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
When your name's on the paint job, your primer better hold up. Painters trust Kills primers for serious adhesion, stain blocking, and a finish that lasts. Now, the full Kills lineup is available exclusively at the Home Depot. Need it fast? Get same-day or next-day delivery, or order online and pick it up in-store. Kills primers. Pro results. Faster. The Home Depot. If you're a pro, you know.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-384-9393. That's 800-384-9393.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can
I don't know if I'm going to be putting on this headset again.
It's over! Shining moment. Might as well go win the whole thing.
All right, we got Web Gems coming up next. Everybody's favorite. We'll talk about the worst fans in America. Oh, it's all of us. So we'll get to that next.
Brandon on the YouTube chat apparently doesn't like that we haven't gotten weird enough. He wants to see some nips or something like that.
I do like somebody was like, wow, Danny's hair looks really nice today.
Dude, I need to.
You got great hair, Joe.
I gotta cut this thing though, man. It is my product. It doesn't have a strong enough hold on it to keep this
Getting
thing
a little
intact all
wild.
day. Yeah, it needs to happen.
You got great hair, amigo.
My girlfriend might leave me too. That's
because it's getting too long.
Oh yeah, dude. I always tell her that I want to look like at some point Kurt Russell in The Thing.
Oh, sick, dude.
Such an epic look.
Oh, so good.
I've shown her the picture so many times. I'm like, you don't want that? She's like, absolutely not. No.
I know. My wife loves that I'm bald, and she's like, don't wear a hat all the time. Bald is beautiful. I'm like, but
I appreciate you being bald, though.
But I've been bald for over 10 years, and I'm still self-conscious about it.
You don't want this life, Patrick, okay?
Of
Trust
too
me.
luscious of a hair to know what to do?
Yeah, it's a burden. It's just, there's
It's like
hair everywhere.
It's like a big, beautiful lawn. You don't know what it takes to make it look green and cross-cut and
You don't
have
want
everybody slow down
my
and
life.
stare at your lawn.
Okay, it's tough. All right, it's hard. Gosh,
Play-
I'm looking at Kurt Russell again. This picture of him in The Thing. It's just a perfect '80s look.
Playing football in West Canaan, Texas may have been the best time of your life. I don't want your life. Too good. Too
God,
good.
What I would give to have that head of hair that Kurt Russell has in The Thing.
I was about to say James Vanderbeek in Varsity Blues looked pretty good there too.
Let me look that one up. I got
At 25.
Got to refresh the memory banks there.
At 25 years old. A lot to get to in the second and the third hour, of the program today. We'll get back into some Oregon Ducks, some final thoughts on that. I'm sure we'll have a little bit more throughout the week as Danny returns. Joe Fisher in for Danny Marang today as he is at Blazer Media Day. Some more college football, and we will touch on Oregon State in the 12 o'clock hour. But our one little NFL nugget that we'll get to today, I heard Brandon and Andy talk about it this morning on the morning show. Like, this day was built that there ain't much to get to. The whole week, I got almost this whole week figured out of what to get through because this was a really, really great weekend in sports.
I know Brandon wants to see the OnlyFans Sport Network, but we got to get to some sports because this was, and not only was this a great sports weekend, we're getting into the best month on the sports calendar every year, October, where you're in the thick of the playoff hunt or you're in the playoffs for MLB. You're in the thick of the football seasons. NBA is going to be starting up here
College
soon.
basketball is not far away.
Yeah, it's October is number one on the calendar.
The Kansas City Chiefs defeat the Baltimore Ravens 37-20. Danny and I walked into this game thinking the weirdest thing to think about is that one of these teams was going to come out 1-3. And that team was the Baltimore Ravens. And I teased this going into the break. Do the Ravens have a Bama problem? And it was more of just in comparison that for some reason Georgia has a Bama problem. The Ravens got a Chiefs problem.
I thought you were going to have the conversation. Could Alabama beat the Baltimore Ravens?
Can the Oregon defensive line stop Cam Ward and the
Could
Tennessee
Alabama
Titans?
beat the Titans? No, they could not.
Could Arch Manning throw on that Jacksonville defense?
Yeah, man, that was a pretty jarring game yesterday. Like when people were laying out the slate for this weekend, that was one of the marquee matchups was Chiefs Ravens, and that was a big wet fart. And
one of the least exciting games of the weekend.
I mean, the Chiefs looked really, really good. It's crazy when you happen to have a long, deep threat receiver like Xavier Worthy, what that does to your offense.
Weird.
But the Ravens, they're injured. They're beat up. Their defense has now given up, outside of that Browns game, was 140 points on the season through 4 games, something like that. Like
it was 90 going into this game, I believe.
They gave up 1 billion points to the Bills. They gave up 38 to the Lions, I want to say, and then they gave up 37 to the Chiefs yesterday? I think 37-20 was the final score.
37.
It's looking rough. And then Lamar Jackson apparently was injured tomorrow, but he didn't really look injured. Like I don't know.
I think that's get him out.
Yeah. Well, hey, when you got Cooper Rush as a backup, that was the thing in Dallas for so many years. Start Cooper Rush. He's great. Dak sucks.
There's just something.
All right, I'll stop.
It's the opposite of what I was saying earlier when you're talking about programs and Georgia has a Bama problem. I don't necessarily always believe that because players are different.
I think the AFC has a Chiefs problem.
The players are always different and the coaches are always different. But in the NFL, you get guys that stick around a lot longer. And I think we all respect John Harbaugh as a coach and a culture guy. And that front office has been so good with personnel for Baltimore over the years that we really, our only question with Baltimore these days has been, when you going to get to a Super Bowl? It's almost like we don't even need you to win one, just get to one. It's kind of like Josh in Buffalo's the same way. You ain't got to win one, just get to one.
Yeah.
Joe got to one, and we gave him all the flowers he needed.
He still gets the flowers.
He still gets them from at least appearing.
Well, and to his credit, to their credit, is one of the aspects of that was they beat the Chiefs to do it.
Mm-hmm.
They beat the Chiefs to get there. Like, it's almost like at this point, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, all of these guys have that first box to check. It's almost like to them where it's like, dude, we don't even care if you don't win a Super Bowl. Just beat the Chiefs and get there, okay? Beat the Chiefs in the divisional round, for God's sakes. Like, someone, please, one of you got Allen MVPs, Lamar Jackson, multiple MVPs. Beat them. Do it, finally.
Joe could have won an MVP last year.
Well, and we saw, last year, I believe the Ravens and Chiefs were in an epic game in like week 4 or week 5. Maybe that was 2 years ago.
Didn't Baltimore shellac them?
No, I think it was just a epic back and forth where the Chiefs ended up winning there at the end. It was, again, refresh my memory banks, but I'm pretty sure it was just like a crazy back and forth game last year. But that's what the Chiefs did last year, was win just those tight, crazy games. So I'm with you, man. It's just the Chiefs are Thanos. They are inevitable. They are just waiting in the wings, and now that they got Worthy back and looks like their offense is completely different, it's just the
defense all of a sudden shows up. You know Baltimore's going to run the football. They had 17 carries for 166 yards because Justice Hill had 3 carries for 76, one of those being one play for 71 yards. Yeah. Derrick Henry is broken. He didn't fumble.
I don't like to overreact week to week, but
I don't either, but this is starting to get really jarring.
He's got a lot of fumbles, and now has 2 out of his 4 performances this year have been lackluster. So give me a bigger sample size, and quite frankly, this upcoming weekend is another big game for them because you're going up against a 1-3 Texans team who looks like they maybe have found something out offensive-wise.
Sometimes you just need to play the right team to figure out your problems.
Yeah, exactly. Playing the Titans does a lot for you. But that's 2 1-3 teams going up against each other. Like, you think the Ravens are desperate? The Texans are desperate as well to get back to 2-3 record. Because if you're 1-4, I don't know what that looks like as far as teams that have come back from a 1-4 record to make the playoffs.
Well, I think I saw, God, I wish I would have wrote this down, but there has only been one team to go 1-3 and make the Super Bowl, and I think it's an Elway Broncos team.
Okay.
But yeah, the Super Bowl for me, playoffs. I mean, that's where the Ravens are right now, and it's surprising. Like, the teams they've played, okay? The teams they've played. The Bills in a shootout. Nobody knows what to expect. It's week 1. The Browns sucked, so they blow them out. The Lions we had kind of left for dead after that Green Bay game. You know, we kind of thought both coordinators are gone. How are they going to figure this out? You know, they're finally getting healthy. Oh, nope, they're banged up. You know, we don't really believe in Detroit. Lights them up. That 38-30 is not indicative of how that game went. And now you sit here and the Chiefs. The Chiefs started 1-2. You know, the offense looks a little lifeless. And Travis Kelce's yelling at Andy Reid on the sidelines. And is this the closing? You know, when dynasties end, the window slams shut real hard. There are no excuses for them anymore, for the Ravens.
No,
you're playing reeling teams, and they're making statements to the league by taking care of business against you, whether it's at home or on the road.
Yeah, and, I feel like, John Harbaugh has obviously proven it. He's won a Super Bowl, but
always give him the benefit of the doubt.
A lot of people are looking at Lamar Jackson, and it's like, can you lead this team to what a lot of people have chosen you to do, is that win a Super Bowl? I mean, you had your chance a couple of years ago in the AFC Championship game, and you ran a offensive game plan that had everybody scratching their heads as to, like, why would you do this in this game? Looking at right now, teams that have started 1-4, 6 teams have made the playoffs in the past. 2018 Colts, which I feel like that was the Andrew Luck game in the playoffs where they beat the Chiefs, I believe.
The big comeback, maybe?
I think. 2015 Kansas City Chiefs started off 1-5 and then won 10 straight to finish off the season. 2011 Broncos, the Tim Tebow-led Broncos.
Oh, yeah.
They were 1
to Demaryius Thomas.
Yeah, baby.
R.I.P.
They started 1-4, finished 8-8 and won a playoff game. 02 Titans, 92 Chargers, and 1970 Bengals. All started off either 1-4 or 0-4. The 70 Bengals started 1-6 and ended up making the playoffs. So I mean,
I know
6 teams ever have gone 1-4, and one of these two teams, Texans or Ravens, is going to be 1-4, and they were in the playoffs last year. So, but the Ravens right now, if that defense can't get healthy and they can't get a win, then that is going to be it's going to be a tough hill to climb.
I know we're up against it, so let's be quick on this. Lamar takes a lot of flack. If he is in fact injured, does that wash away the criticism, or does the criticism
they
still
have
live?
Cooper Rush. They're gonna be fine. Nah, he's not injury prone, so
Surprisingly, the way he plays,
Yeah.
so chaotically and so fun and flashy.
I know
think he is.
a couple years ago
He gets banged
he
up,
had
but-
an injury that he missed a few games, but there are some teams that do get the benefit of the doubt that it's like, you guys were banged up this year. You didn't have Lamar. Like, okay, I get it. But there does become a point where the rubber meets the road, and whether it's this season, whether it's next season, they have been so good in the regular season and have put themselves into the position to win games that if this season is not the year where they just flame out and it's like Ravens went 7-10 because they had a bad start and Lamar was injured and Henry had a bad year, then you run it back next year. And then if it's a season next year where you go 12-5 and lose to the Chiefs again, like the time is running out for this iteration of the Ravens.
I agree.
For sure. But I think that we just got to see it play out a little bit longer.
Web Gems is next. We'll have the conversation. Who are the worst fans in all of America? Oh, guess what? It's all of us. We'll do that next. 105.1 The Fan.
Happy time.
Sometimes it's bad.
No, son of a...
It's Web Gems,
What'd you do?
the firm of Harris and Marang on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 and 1080 The Fan.
All right, this is Web Gems. Do it every single day at 11:45. Give you a little preview of what we're going to get to in the nooner here. We'll get back into some Oregon Duck chatter as they defeat Penn State, become number 2 team in the nation.
How about that? In the nation.
I know you guys are mad that I got this duck honk over here.
Hey.
We're over duck honks at this station.
Hey, listen, you just better be glad that we didn't win in Champaign, because boy,
you would have been insufferable.
Oh
today.
boy, because that type of environment is way different. Okay,
so we'll get back into some duck chatter. Also, where do we stand? We'll ask Danny this question tomorrow when Danny returns. He's at Blazer Media today. But I want to ask you, Joe, since I've got you in your opinion in the 12 o'clock hour, what we learned from college football in this weekend, and then we'll touch on Oregon State and. I don't know if you can write it, so we'll get to that at 12:30 as well to finish up the final hour of this program. But here on Web Gems is brought to you by the worst fans in America. Well, they're us.
Me?
All of us. You, me.
I was a great fan this weekend.
Jordan Schultz on the 1s and 2s now, stepping in for swag.
That's a great fan.
What's up, guys? And another duck honk in the studio with you.
That's all right. That's all right. Today's your day, guys. You need to carry that flag.
Again, man.
Look, as someone whose team who plays a different sport than your team does, you wave that flag, baby. You wave that flag.
Again, could have been Champagne, but we'll take it.
We'll get to that. The worst fans in America are the Americans. I'll tell you what, we live in a crazy world right now. I don't want to. This isn't going to be a political segment by any means, but there's a lot of discourse. There's a lot of vitriol. There's a lot of, no, you're an idiot. No, you're an idiot,
You are an idiot.
Yeah, there's I appreciate that. At least I own it. There's a lot of discourse in this country, and there's a lot of one-sidedness, but something I've always enjoyed is when we band together for USA. I was talking to Joe in the break about USA-Mexico. I love that Mexico is my rival. Geography, we've had epic matches, 2-0, all this stuff. It's great, but I've also happened to work with a lot of Hispanics and people from Mexico, and they're some of the most awesome people I've ever met. I totally am down, let's go kick Europe's ass. Let's do this. Last time I checked, we won the war. You want to play stupid stuff like that, I'm all down. But getting into F you Rory chants is a little childish, not to mention you all were the same people rooting for Rory McIlroy and crying when he won the Masters, asking for his autograph. To switch like that, to not just be rooting against Europe, but to just be giant clowns, it's embarrassing.
There is definitely a vibe shift in golf where it has become, someone put it in a great way, I don't know, on Twitter, Reddit, whatever, wherever it was. It is the barstoolification of golf. And I'm sure most of you know what that means. It's just me and the boys, we're going to the Ryder Cup.
Gonna put down some Coors Lights.
I got an 8-ball. We're going to have a great time. Like, people said that there was open cocaine use at the Ryder Cup.
That is unbelievable. It's the one, golf and tennis are the one sport you can't do that in. Look, I am not a fuddy-duddy that, I don't think every event needs to be the Waste Management, but I also don't think every event needs to be the Open Championship. Like, you can loosen things a little bit. Liv has tried to do this, relaxing kind of what you wear, attire, and mic'd up people. I'm all for loosening some stuff and getting it more engaging with the crowds and the viewers on TV. This is too much.
Oh, dude.
The MC of Bethpage Black. Are you kidding me?
Oh my God. I almost wanted us to pull the audio, because if I had to suffer through it, then I feel like other people would. It is so cringy of them trying. And she makes a comment. This is 6 a.m. Saturday morning. They're trying to get the crowd up and going. And she's like, oh, come on, guys. I know we all took Adderall this morning. And it was like, what are we doing? There is a sense of yes, you can have the pride. You can get riled up. Ryder Cup, it's a different territory.
Mm-hmm.
But as you mentioned, I don't know if you said it or during the break or whatever. It's this isn't the wasted management, okay? Golf, there is something about golf and Rory. Dirt knows how much I dislike Rory. He said a lot of things this weekend.
Spot on.
That are just dude, we learned this when we're watching our kids play youth sports. cheering on your own team, not tearing down and ripping on the opponents. Like, that is something that, as I watch my 12-year-old son in soccer, it's like, always remind yourself, cheer and lift up who you are rooting for. Do not call out the other opponents. Do not talk S to the other opponents. Like, it seemed like there was more focus on that versus USA. Let's go, guys. Let's get this done. I'm cheering on JT. I'm cheering on the Doucher. I'm cheering on Scotty. And that's
the one time we're all on the Doucher's side is here.
Yeah, and Rory, I mean, like Rory even said, he's like, I felt like I heard a lot of F you Rory chants and not a lot of let's go Scotty, like let's get it done Scotty chants. Like
Scotty Scheffler.
I think we might just need to pull that drop for you guys to have in the future, because it was such a cringy display. That is the best way that I can describe it. It was just cringy the whole time, the whole weekend. And that's where, it is hard to kind of root for the U.S. when it's like when you have those jamokes, they're making a fool of themselves.
Well, and it takes away from the fact that Europe smoked us.
Yeah, and it's
they
also
were really
one of those,
good.
like,
Justin Rose said, hey, guys, jump on. I'll carry you.
Yeah, it was, it's just... Golf it definitely has, and granted we'll have 2 more years and we'll go over to Europe, and I'm sure that they're going to have their epic chance, and it's going to be, the decorum's going to be a hell of a lot better, but we need 4 years to really look ourselves in the face as Team USA on the course and in the stands, because dude, it was just an ugly gross. I mean, like, a beer got knocked out of someone's hand that almost went and hit Rory's wife in the head. Like, I don't know if it was Lowry or Terrell Hatton. Like, he had to at one point point out security and go right up to a guy in the front row and was like, that guy, you're gone. And like, what?
Golfers shouldn't be having to tell you this guy's gone.
Yeah. It's, like, again, and someone texts in, a lot of F-bombs from Penn State fans toward the Ducks, so it's going all over sports. College football's
a little different. It's built like that.
Golf is a unique beast in itself, where it teaches a lot about etiquette, teaches a lot about class, respecting your opponent, and it just seems like for some reason that has gone out the window. Well, I feel like a lot of people know why it's gone out the window over the last few years, because of just how society is, and people not facing the consequences of their actions, and keyboard warriors, and trying to, being fans of. I saw someone say this, being more fans of themselves than of the action.
It's
like,
point.
Look at the comment I can make. Look what I'm about to say.
Zach says this on the YouTube chat. You guys joke about this, but I got more construction guys to watch Ryder Cup on Saturday because of those storylines. I heard, quote, "This is awesome. It's like Happy Gilmore." And Zach, I hear you on that. I really do. And I am all for golf, loosening up and letting fans have a great time and be more, get this Europe versus USA rivalry thing going, especially on USA soil. But it gets to a point where it goes from really fun to really douchey. And I don't want that in any sport. Look, there's a reason I've never been to an NFL game, and I don't know if I ever will. Most of it is I just think the product's better on TV than it is in the stands, but I can't imagine being a Niner fan at Seahawks Stadium, or a Cowboy fan in Philly, or even a Bucks fan in DC, of me quietly sitting there in a game to watch my team because I don't live in that city, and some drunk dude coming to me and be like, "Oh yeah, man, I came here to drink some beer and whoop some ass, and they stopped serving beer last quarter, bro." Like, I don't want to be around that. And don't send golf that way, because it's a bad look.
Well, and to me, like, the whole, like, this is awesome, it's like Happy Gilmore, to me, the Ryder Cup is special because of, like, the energy, the enthusiasm from the golfers and the crowd. But what was happening this weekend was just taking it a step too far with how players were going after Europe. And, kudos to them, tip of the cap, because they responded and they beat the hell out of the
They
US.
rose up. It backfired is what it did. It pissed off Rory, who, Isaac Robb talks about this a lot. To Rory's, a negative of Rory is after he won the Masters, he's like, I did it. I got everything I need. I don't need much more from golf. And what you did is you pissed him off, and Europe won on American soil.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I just think that
you made us look worse in Europe than we already look bad.
What makes that event so special is the format, the one-on-one singles.
It's different than a major. It's about the players and not the course anymore.
It is such a fun way to watch and absorb golf in a way that we don't normally do throughout the year. And to see the environment and everything, it's great. But what happened this weekend was just, again, it was cringe. And it's disappointing, and hopefully something gets learned in the next 4 years.
A lot to get to in the final hour. We'll slide back into the Oregon Ducks as they defeat Penn State in double overtime. What this means, plus a little look more around college football as well. Final hour, don't go anywhere. Hang out with us. We're having fun. I'm Patrick. That's Joe, 105.1 The Fan.
Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on The Fan, great news for you Oregon Duck fans over the weekend with that 30-24 double overtime win at Penn State Saturday night. Your Duckies moving to number 2 in the newest AP Top 25 poll behind Ohio State at 1. Running out the top 5, you got Miami, Ole Miss up to 4, and then Oklahoma at 5th. Penn State with the loss dropping down to 7th. Oregon on a bye this Saturday. They'll host number 8 Indiana on October 11th. Some bad news also in college football this morning. Arkansas firing head coach Sam Pittman, named Bobby Petrino interim head coach. He has cleaned house as well, actually. Fired 3 defensive assistants as he took over the job, trying to salvage this season. You got a doubleheader of Monday Night Football action to wrap up Week 4 of the NFL season. 4:15 on ESPN. The Jets and Dolphins in Miami, and then later on, Dolphins 2.5-point favorites. Then at 5:15, the Broncos host the Bengals. Denver as a 7.5-point favorite there. You can catch that one on KATU Channel 2. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Schulte from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Heard missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The Fan is live on YouTube and Twitch. And now Window Nation brings you on-demand videos. Watch Window Nation's Window into the Fan. The firm of Harris and Marang. Patrick Harris.
Look, Daniel, I do what I want.
Danny Marang.
That is smelling your own farts.
Easy there. These are great pipes.
I'm not going to say agree to disagree, but I really don't like you right now.
The firm of Harris and Marang on the Fan Sports Network. 105.1 and 1080. The Fan.
All right, 2 down, 1 to go as we close shop up today on the final hour here of the program. Danny Marang is at Blazer Media Day, so he'll swing back in tomorrow. He'll catch us up on what's going on with the Blazers, including Scoot Henderson and all that kind of situation, so there's a lot to get to for that. Plus, I'm sure he'll have some Oregon Duck situation, and he will agree with us that Penn State is not as tough as Champaign, Illinois.
I just think Dante Moore needs to show me.
Got to show me a little more.
Show me more.
Got to show me a little more. We'll have Ducks Insider with Joey Mack from 1 to 2. You'll get Happy Hour with Luke Anderson from 2 to 3, and then it's prime time from 3 to 7 to take you all the way home, finishing up 13 hours of continuous live, local, regional sports talk radio. Ducks defeat Penn State in double overtime.
Yeah, they did.
I think we spent a lot of time on this in the first hour, so you can go back and check the podcasts or the Odyssey app to catch those. But I do want to kind of just finish up a little bit as I got Joe Fisher here with me, my old hot corner buddy, is kind of what this win means. You know, I think, what am I trying to say here? Is this a bigger win for Oregon, or is it a bigger loss for Penn State?
I would say it is a bigger loss for Penn State because of the pressure, the narrative not going away, and James Franklin even saying it's not even a narrative anymore; it's just facts. I'll give him credit for being honest.
I'll give Franklin credit for being honest, but I don't know if that's stuff I want to hear out loud.
I just think that they felt like this is their year, this is their moment. I mean, that they were favored. I mean, hell, I even took them to win the game, dude. I just thought,
Ditto.
I was like, this is, this is their time. There's moments, it's a tough environment.
No faith.
Reverse jinx.
I loved the Ducks in this game. We have a new benchmarks that we do, new seggies that we do on Tuesday, free consultation.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody asked last Tuesday, when as a Duck fan can I start feeling comfortable going into these type of games? And I said now. Well, I said now's your time. Dude, you might not win them, but Lanning is different than Taggart and Cristobal and Helfrich and even Kelly. Lanning just has his guys believing, and you could have walked into that game on Saturday and lost that game and walked out, and you don't feel like Penn State does right now. Even if you lose in heartbreaking fashion, even if Dante Moore goes out there, if the script is completely reversed and Dante Moore looks like Drew Aller, okay? And that defense has freshmen that look like Oregon's defense with transfers on the offensive line. You flip that script and Penn State wins and Oregon loses like that, Dante throws an interception in double overtime and it's just over, you're still feeling okay as a Duck fan because you were in that game on the road. And it never, to me, even in the comeback, it never felt like Penn State was in that game.
No, and before the season started, I think when people are looking at this schedule, that's a win, that's a loss.
And I think they're not in this game because of Oregon, not because of themselves. They had some of their own demons that came out, but Oregon exposed those demons.
Yeah, I just think that coming into this season, a lot of Duck fans were probably like, yeah, they're probably going to lose that game. Yeah, going to Penn State, Happy Valley, the White House, it's going to be tough. They probably lose that game. And then you saw this team over the last 4 weeks, and you started to think a little bit differently. They played Montana State, and it was like, well, They did what an FBS team is supposed to do against an FCS team. They absolutely dominated. They play Oklahoma State. Ran them out of the building. That is a Power 4 team. And I know how bad they are. They obviously fired their head coach, but not
still a Power 4 program.
No, went into Northwestern in a wacky, weird time kickoff environment. Just fell off the entire time. Just like I was like, is this an exhibition? Like, is this a jamboree? And they did what they needed to. They got in, got the hell out of there. And then against Oregon State, one drive that Oregon State had for them to hold their hat on. And then the rest of the time after that, punt. They kept them in check.
It was very much a rivalry start to that game.
Do you realize that passing touchdown Drew Aller had, that was the only passing touchdown the Ducks have given up this season? Like, Dante Moore has been sacked.
I guess I would have known that if I thought about it, but I haven't thought about it.
Dante Moore, I think, has been sacked one time this entire season.
Yep.
Like, they are doing things that you have seen good Ducks teams in the past not do.
Kind of stumble with a little bit.
Yeah. Like, you are like seeing a well-disciplined team, and
whether it was Bo in Seattle or Dylan Gabriel in the playoff, whatever it is.
And as you said, like, if the script was flipped, you could probably make a lot of excuses why they lost that game. Like, a lot of freshmen. Dante Moore hasn't been in that environment. Like, there's a lot of...
Denny Sutton is better than Abdul Carter, maybe. They got a first-round corner.
Penn State, they felt like this was our season. We brought our best running backs back. We got a lot of transfer receivers that did some good things. Kyron Hudson from USC, Trevor Pena from Syracuse, Ross, I think, came from Troy, and he had 2 touchdowns in the game. And Drew Aller, he's coming back for his senior year. Maybe this is the year he finally gets it done. And it was just the same old, like, that's why you had Fire Franklin chants happening in the fourth quarter. It was fourth quarter.
Oh, it was fourth quarter.
It was
okay.
after they went up 17-3. That's when the chants started coming out. But it's just, for Penn State fans, they're just like, dude, it's the same story over and over again. This is why coaches get fired even if they win 10 games. It's like
Bo Pelini.
Yes.
I always think of Bo Pelini at Nebraska.
Perfect example.
Dude won 9 games every single year. Tom Osborne ain't walking through that door. There's no Eric Crouch at quarterback, and for some reason, 9 wins wasn't good enough.
Durden Sprague, they had a good comparison too with Mark Richt at Georgia.
I heard that this morning.
And I was
Excellent
like,
point.
Yeah,
He's
it's
putting Matt
just-
Stafford into the NFL. Good Georgia teams.
Yeah, it's like there are just teams that they're like, this is fun, but it could be a hell of a lot better, where we can be a national championship winning team. And sometimes it works out in the case of Georgia, and then sometimes it doesn't work out in the case of Wisconsin, where you're now kind of scrapping and clawing and trying to figure out what the hell are you even as a school and as a program.
Well, and one of the interesting things when it comes to coaches and how they're perceived is how long is it going to take till the narrative goes, well, yeah, you made the playoff, but cool, you make the playoff every year, but that's not good enough.
Yeah.
And Franklin will be victim number 1 of it.
Yeah.
Because they have a good chance to go to the playoff still. And if they go to the playoff and bow out or win a game like they did last year, they were in the Final Four last year. And if they don't make a playoff this year, like, James Franklin could get fired.
Well, you guys are right that he, of all people, realizes where he's at, because I think we all caught the look on his face talking to Lanning when they said good game to each other at the middle of the field. Just that almost glazed over look in his eyes, looking up into the crowd. Like,
well, you saw him talking to Drew Aller. He was like,
Yeah.
so, hey,
keep your head up.
He didn't know what to say.
No.
He didn't know what to say.
Nope. All I saw that he could get out was keep your head up or head up, or something like that. And other than that, there was nothing. And at what point do you say, hey, maybe he just can't get it done, and maybe we're overvaluing all of those transfers that we're talking about? I don't know. I think that maybe there was a little bit more blame on Penn State than there was on Oregon in that loss. And I think we're a little high on our skis about Penn State. That's my take.
Yeah, and I'll ask this question, and we'll go to break and come back for it, and then check around a little bit in college football. I asked Tyson Alger this last week, and he joins us every Wednesday at 10:30, and I'm going to ask him again when he comes back on. Do the expectations for Oregon change after that performance?
Yes.
A win doesn't necessarily just change it, but does how they win and how they look change that going forward? We'll do that next. This is Portland Sports Leader 105.1, the Fan Sports Network.
Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
Now, what did I do wrong?
You can put it on the ball.
As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be a home run.
People can kiss my ass. Nah, we ain't taking that.
105.1 The Fan here. Portland sports leader, don't you forget it. Got Everton up 1-0. Danny's an Everton fan. They're up 1-0 on West Ham right now in the 18th minute.
Yeah, literally just scored. God, Crystal Palace the other day? What the hell
Dude,
is that?
Such a bummer.
Well, they were due for one. They had been kind of gacking some games lately.
They had some of the best defense in all the Premier League.
Yeah, I know, but
I can't believe you took the bait and you had like content to come at me with. That's awesome.
Hey, Premier League Joe, baby. I thank my son.
Plus, playing at Crystal Palace is tough. It's not Champaign, Illinois, but it's tough.
It's not Champaign, Illinois. I mean, I don't expect any team to go into Champaign, Illinois and get a win.
College football coach of the year? I think Bielema's the leader in the clubhouse.
Might just be.
We'll get to Oregon State here in about 15 minutes, but I want to kind of put a little bow on this Oregon conversation and then kind of parlay it into another conversation just about college football. I asked Tyson Alger last week this question, and he was like, I don't know. I think so, but it shouldn't. And I'm going to ask him that again on Wednesday when he joins the program. But, Joe, as you're here right now, I'll ask you, and Schultze, feel free to jump in as well. I was very hesitant going into this game thinking that if Oregon wins, unless they win 30-0, that the expectations shouldn't change for this team, that I felt this season was very much house money. And, you know, you could win only 9 games or you could go undefeated and win the Big Ten again. That with too many questions with the offensive line and what Dante looks like, we knew the defense was going to be good. But, you know, what's this Decorian Moore? Is he going to be any good as your number one option at wide receiver? So I was very hesitant to say that expectations have changed. But in the way that game went down, new information creates new opinions, Joe. Does the expectations for this team change now?
If anything, they're just they're ratcheted up. So I don't think it like this one game is like, oh, I didn't think they were a championship contender. But now I think it just adds more evidence that they are a championship contender. Again, going into this year, I think there was some games on the schedule where you could be like, yeah, I could see them winning this game. I could see them losing this game.
All of a sudden, Indiana's really tough.
Yeah.
You know? Are the Huskies for real this year? That game could be sticky at Montlake.
Well, then you see how they perform in their first 4 games, and then you see how they perform in this game.
Mm-hmm.
And so to me, it's not one of those like, now I think it's just like, dude, they should be in the conversation even more so. There's a reason they're now the number 2 team in the nation. That is a huge win for anybody that goes into that type of environment. And this is where I will say, like, you know, take a deep breath. LSU got a big win to start the season.
True.
Going into Clemson
was huge.
Yeah, and
I had Clemson
win,
in the Natty.
And everyone's like, man, maybe this is the year that LSU does it.
Mm-hmm.
And then what does LSU do?
Yeah, and that's what I'll parlay into this of asking, like, what did we learn this weekend?
And not just that, what did Clemson do? So it's like Penn State, like, what if they end up dropping 2 more games?
Florida State
3 games.
Florida State smokes Bama and gets beat on Friday night.
Yeah.
You know? So they'll parlay that into this question of what did we learn this weekend in college football? I learned that Dante Moore and Ty Simpson are Heisman frontrunners for me, with Mateer out. I mean, maybe Mendoza gets a statement, but Mendoza is going to win or lose it against Oregon. Unfortunately, that's how they're going to look at him and that program and how that's going to play out. Do I think that's fair? No, I don't. But I'm telling you right now, Dante Moore is my Heisman candidate and the 2 best teams in the nation. I've been asking questions. I still got some. I know we'll talk about Ole Miss tomorrow and Ohio State maybe on Wednesday whenever we get to that stuff. But I will tell you what I've seen 5 weeks, 6 weeks into the season for some teams. The 2 best teams in college football right now are your Oregon Ducks and the Miami Hurricanes. Now, Cristobal, probably going Cristobal at some point.
You almost tried to their last game.
But I think that's the big benefit, as I have preached on this show, why Carson Beck is the perfect fit in Miami right now, because he might stop you from doing that stupid thing that Cristobal always does. But what I saw from Ohio State and Seattle, I'm not there. What I saw from Penn State, I'm not there. You know, is it fair to blame Kiffin that LSU's offense is just atrocious? Maybe not, but the reality remains that LSU's offense is atrocious. the only things that I know for sure are the two most balanced teams in college football are Oregon and Miami.
Well, and right now, two of the best wins might just be Oregon beating Penn State and Miami beating Notre Dame.
I think so.
Notre Dame obviously losing their two first games against tough opponents
against two top 10 opponents right now.
Texas A&M. I mean, that game could have gone either way, but we just saw what Notre Dame did to Arkansas. They literally got Sam Pittman fired this weekend.
And Notre Dame could have won both those games.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So I think
one could argue should have.
Notre Dame, they have 2 losses to be in the mix at the end of the season. It's going to be tough. But right now they're looking like a wagon after a rough start. And to me, Miami, they have a huge prove-it game this weekend because it's the first time they don't leave the state of Florida, but which, by the way, I don't know how the hell they got the schedule they did. But
dude, Georgia's the same way.
Miami literally doesn't leave the state of Florida until they play SMU. In like 4 weeks.
And they're going to Texas, which was just a recruiting trip.
Oh, my God. But they play Florida State this weekend, and Florida State's going to come into that game super pissed off.
Norvell is so mad.
Yeah.
Norvell is so mad from what happened on Friday night. By the way, you want to talk about experiences? Whoa. That Virginia crowd.
Oh, my God.
Why do all those kids get to be on the field there at the end?
Dude.
You know what I mean? There's like 200 people standing in the end zone. I thought they stampeded over their own guy.
What cracked me up was like, there was a reporter that was like, oh, no, it wasn't as bad on the field. There was like multiple hospitalized people. I was like, oh, my God. I was like, listen, I usually am all about college traditions and rushing the field and court. I was like, that one was scary as hell.
Nobody's waiting 5 minutes before you rush the field. That looked really scary. But you know what it did? Not only was Norvell pissed off about some officiating down the stretch, whether you agree or disagree, he's going to go into that Miami game pissed off. And he's probably going to do what Dan Lanning did to James Franklin, and it's like, what are Mario Cristobal's weaknesses?
Well, and
clock management in the end of the game. And if it's close, he's going to do everything in his power to throw him off. And it's going to be a tough game. I thought game day was going to go to that game.
It's a must-win, not just a must-win, but a must look dominant and look like the better team out there. And don't let this be a fluky win or where you gack it down your leg at the end of the game. Again, you need to go out against Florida State, who I quite frankly got. And I don't know, Alabama, they just beat Georgia, so maybe they do deserve the praise and deserve to get that top 10 ranking right away.
You weren't on that Florida State train, were you?
It was a good win, but then it was like, all right, we'll give you a top 14. Oh, you go and beat Kent State by 1 billion? Let's give you number 7. And I was just like, all right, that's a good win for Florida State, but
side note,
are they this good?
Side note, Kent State might have the worst schedule in the nation.
Probably.
I've looked at Florida's and I've looked at Wisconsin's. Those are bad, but Kent State's playing Oklahoma this week.
Dude. Jesus Christ.
Right?
Excuse my language, but how many times do you have to play 70, get beat 70-0? But
you're right. I mean, if Miami walks out there and beats Florida State by 2 scores, I might sit here and tell you that Miami's the best team in the nation and should be number 1.
Yeah.
I know AP, we've bitched and moaned about the AP poll and whether it's valid or even necessary. We've gone in lengths to that. I don't know how you have Ohio State as the number 1 team in the nation when I think 2 and 3 on a neutral site might beat them.
They gave up 62 to Texas Tech, 66 to Florida State.
Dude, Texas Tech, Florida State. They got Oklahoma this week. What's the rest of their schedule? Kent State.
They got Oklahoma. They do get a break with UMass. And then they go into their conference schedule, so they'll play Bowling Green and all that. But that is the toughest.
Damn, if Kent State wanted to make a playoff run, this was the schedule.
You almost had it, Golden Flashes. God.
This was the schedule to do it. Speaking of group of 5 playoff chances, we don't have them in Corvallis.
That was Friday night. It's Friday night news dump. We don't even talk about it, right?
We'll get into Friday night news dump in Corvallis and the situation going on down there as they invent new ways to cause pain and suffering. I have some positives to say. This is a positive Monday, and I got a lot to say about you Oregon State fans. We'll get to that next, but first we'll toss it to Schultze with sports.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on The Fan, your Oregon Duckies moving up into the top 5 after that 30-24 double overtime win at Penn State on Saturday night. In the top 25 now, or at least in the top 5, Ohio State 1, Oregon 2, Miami 3, Ole Miss up to 4, Oklahoma now 5th, Penn State dropping all the way down to 7th. The Ducks on a bye this Saturday. They're going to host number 8 Indiana down at Hudson Stadium on October 11th. Some other good news for the Ducks coming in just a few minutes ago. Quarterback Dante Moore just announced as the Big Ten Co-Offensive Player of the Week. Had a nice performance against Penn State, 248 yards, 3 tutties through the air, 35 yards rushing on the ground as well. It's the first career Big Ten honor for Dante Moore. On to the NFL, a doubleheader wrapping up week 4 of the NFL tonight. It's a 4:15 kick for your first game on ESPN, the Jets and Dolphins in Miami. Justin Fields back for that one. The Dolphins 2.5-point favorites. Then coming up at 5:15, the Broncos host the Bengals. Denver a 7.5-point favorite as the home team. You can catch that one on KATU Channel 2. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Schulte from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Heard missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The home of dirt and spray. Weekday morning, 6 to 10 a.m. The Firm of Harris and Marang on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
What's the point of this?
Closing arguments coming up next, and that'll send you on your way.
Man, we're already there.
been a great day with you, my old friend. Thanks for stepping in.
Has been always available when you need me. Well, actually,
no, I got like 3 bosses to go through before I can get you. Plus my wife. I had to clear you on the show today with my wife.
Talk to my agent.
Old preschool. I had to make sure she was all right with that. You got a nickname yet for your girlfriend?
No, I was trying the BTK for a bit because she's good friends with the BTJ.
Yeah, no, I follow.
Well, but she's half Korean, half Filipino, so I was like BTK. I was like, so that was gone after a couple days. I don't know, Sweet Cheeks, something like that.
Ooh, Sweet Cheeks.
Generic.
Toots. Girls love being called that nowadays, right?
She's a dame.
Hey.
That broad.
Hey there, Toots.
Her. And that's a 4-banger as the Giants win
That's
the
a very
pennant.
handsome lady you got there.
The Giants win the pennant.
No nickname yet that I can think of off the top of my head.
My nickname in real life for my wife is Goomba.
Hey, Sugar Teas.
Yeah,
The ST. What up, ST?
Sugar Teas. We call each other Booba. So.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
What's not cute is what's going down in Corvallis. Look, I stayed up all night on Friday to watch this game. I was like emotionally exhausted on a Friday night. You know, it's just like a dope night around the house with the kids and, you know, getting dessert going. And I'd made a really good dinner that the kids actually liked and was healthy. And we're having a grand old time and put the kids to bed. And I'm watching the rest of this Oregon State game. And I was worried about my energy level going into Saturday. You know, it was a big game in Champaign. Probably the biggest game of the day was in Champaign, Illinois. And I was worried that I didn't have the juice for it after watching that late night debacle at Oregon State. And I try really hard on this program to be positive. Those are my brethren as a Coug. We are forever linked together, and we will be, and I'm happy to be. Because I have a lot of fans, a lot of friends that are fans and alumni. You know, I got a place to stay in Corvallis. I'm going down to the game this year. But it's something's broken. Something's real broken. And when you get to a point where everybody knows you don't trust a certain department of your team, and then you go ahead and show the world you also don't trust it, it's a problem.
Yeah.
It's a problem. And it starts at the AD. I've heard a lot of you say that it's past Bray at this point, and it's a Scott Barnes thing.
And as someone who is a Pitt basketball fan who had to deal with Scott Barnes before Oregon State, trust me, I'm with you guys. I know it.
And it's funny because I always thought while the Pac-12 was, you know, trying to stay afloat and figure out the path forward before we got here, Scott Barnes was one of the guys at the table fighting for everybody. And I really respected that. And it kind of changed my narrative on Scott Barnes as a leader of that athletic department. And I think if you take football away, you could argue that Scott Barnes is doing a great job. The problem is football is your moneymaker. And you have lost institutional control over it. What I will say is on Friday, we talked about how Oregon State had a players-only meeting.
Yikes.
And
those are always great.
I know.
You always do that when you're like things are going great, right?
Yeah.
We're undefeated. You guys, let's have a players-only meeting.
The Mets are having a players-only meeting right now. Yeah.
Closed-door player meeting.
Closed-door player meeting.
That's a baseball thing. When it leaks into football, uh-oh.
And I'll tell you what, it worked. It worked. I saw so much fight from those Oregon State players. I really did throughout the entire game. Houston is a better team than Oregon State. And they had them.
Yeah.
And that was effort, that was energy, that was emotion, that was whether you like the coach or not that said, no, I'm not going down like this. I'm not going down like this. And they didn't go down like that until
they went
down like that. But I don't know if it was their fault, you know? I don't know if it was their fault.
I had a little bit more of a kind of, you know, think process on the loss, because when I came in Saturday and we did Sports Saturday, I was like, Rashad said during the break or during the show at one point, he's like, man, I don't think we make it past the weekend without Bray getting fired. And my initial feelings was like, well, you saw a team that didn't basically give up on their coach. Like, you didn't see we're going to lose 56-0 because this message is stale. We're
easily
done.
Could have.
Yes. I mean, at this point, yes, easily could have. And so you saw that team fight, and there's part of that, seeing that performance and then hearing what you've heard from Scott Barnes, that just made me, I'm like, yeah, they're not going to fire him after this weekend. Like, you just saw a team that didn't give up on their coach, but in second thinking, you can't lose the game the way that you did and bring him back. You have to fire him at this point. Should have fired him probably a couple weeks ago, but you have figured out a new way to lose every single week.
It's one thing to be out-talented.
And this is one that, along with the Fresno State game, you should have won this game. Like, Cal just straight up beat you.
But I would argue in the Cal game, look, I got real high on the Cal skis, and I don't know if I should have, because I don't know if Cal's that good. I think that was a poor preparation going into that game, which still falls on the coach too. In theory, you could be 3-1 right now.
Well, and they did play better in that second half against Cal because it seemed like JKS.
3-2.
I mean, JKS came out right away and just was throwing bombs. And
Cal was my team.
I think you're right. I think they just weren't prepared for him to play as well as he did. But then through the rest of the game, like they went like 0 of 10 from third down. That Cal did, but Cal was the better team that day. Fresno State, you should have won that game. You have a long snapper, which, again, still to say out loud is insane. You have a long snapper, you win that game. Texas Tech, Oregon, we saw what happened, didn't have a chance. This was a winnable game. Like, at the very worst or very best, you should be 3-2 right now, honestly.
You should.
And this one,
losing to teams that out-talent you, that's fine.
You had a 99.2% chance to win this game, according to ESPN's predictor. In the fourth quarter, you had them on like a 3rd and 17 or something, Houston, where they were able to get a big play, convert fourth, and then go down and score and keep this game alive. It just like you found a way to lose this game when you shouldn't. Your special teams continues to be, using Trent Bray's words, an effing joke. And so what? Like, let's go get a win at App State now. Yay. Like, that really changes the trajectory of our program and how we feel. Like,
well, and let's go to that game. Like, if Bray is still the man in charge, I think they could lose by 30 to App State and he'll still keep a job. You know, his buyout drops by $2 million on December 1st. I think they wait till the end of the season. I do.
I don't know if
I do.
If they lose by 30 to App State. You know what? I still believe in the message.
I mean, what have you seen now that deserves to keep it?
I mean, nothing. But again, like they should. I gotta be careful saying this. They should win this game against App State. It's App State. Like.
Should they?
I'm speaking this into existence.
Joe, should they?
Oh, my God. The matchup predictor on ESPN even has App State 50.3% to win this. Oh, God. They're going to lose this game, aren't they?
Look, dude, those are my brethren. Those are my peeps. And I got your back.
Oregon State's a 2.5-point spread. Oh, my God.
Dude, it's a 50-50 on a neutral site.
Bounce back game, damn it. Come on, Beavs.
Shout out to the student section at Reeser on Friday. They were rocking. I saw a lot of cool painted chests and drunk co-eds and, the whole shebang. I had a great moment where I saw this kid who looked really drunk hug this hot next to him, and she had this look like, oh, man, Joe's drunk again. I am not. You are not getting this tonight.
You don't have a chance. Well, people are chiming in. App State is favored, so no, they aren't going to. I just saw it. Beavs 2.5, baby. Lay the points.
And as of 37 minutes ago, Ryan Harlan from On3 said, Trent Bray said that no coaching staff changes have been made at this time from Friday's loss to Houston. That's from X.
Well, I mean, that's him saying that, so that'd be funny if he came out and be like, I've been fired, guys, just to let you know.
No, but none of his assistants. He is basically sticking up for his assistants here, saying, no, we're not letting any of them go either. So.
And that's a captain that's going to go down with the ship, all right? That's what Scott Barnes is saying. Like, I just appreciate that leadership, sticking with his guys. You know what? 3-year extension.
The ship that's going down is like the half of the Titanic that broke off.
And the half that's in the water. Yeah, that's the one
that's the ship you're
He's
going
not
down
at the
with.
end with Leonardo DiCaprio.
No.
And hoping to the very end.
Get on the boat.
No.
Or get on the door, I mean.
The Beavs are, he's the guy that jumped off and hit the propeller on the way down. That's what it is. You know what scene I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about. It was the one it was like the most serious moment of the movie, and the guy hit the propeller, and everybody in the theater goes, ooh, that's gotta hurt. Ooh,
damn.
That's gotta hurt. He's going to feel that one tomorrow.
Up.
He's going to feel that one tomorrow.
Dude, go beat App State for the love of God.
Put 30 on him.
Like that's one where like I'm really trying to pull for the Beavs here. You lose to App State. Dude, I am open the floodgates on this team for the rest of the year.
At this point, the coaching staff is the Titanic band.
Well, it's a pleasure playing with you boys.
It's the world's smallest violin playing the world's smallest song.
Well, again, go to App State, get a dub, baby.
Get a dub. I believe in you. Let's go.
I do too.
When we come back, we'll close up shop. 105.1 The Fan.
It's time for Easy Play, brought to you by Home Z, making home improvement easy.
Eller gonna throw, steps back, swings it down, it is intercepted! Oregon pick, Ducks win! Ducks win!
That's Jerry Allen right here from Learfield. You can catch all Ducks games on the radio. Dusty Harris, sideline reporter, right here on the Fan Sports Network. Thieneman, such an anticlimactic way to watch it, even if you're a Duck fan, because in the overtime rules, you intercept that ball and game's over.
Yeah, it's just like, we're done.
It wasn't fourth down. It wasn't a missed field goal. It was just like, we're done. Oh, okay.
I will say it was an easy play because when you have 4 wide receivers all on the short side of the field between the hash and the sideline, there's going to be a lot of defenders there too.
This Easy Play brought to you by Home Z. Use Home Z's online calculator to estimate your project instantly. Make it easy. Call Home Z. That's HOMZE. HomeZ.com.
We just finished our roof and siding with Home Z. I got a clear itemized estimate.
Is wrapping up for the day,
You want answers?
which means it's time for the closing arguments
I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth!
on the Fan Sports Network.
You can't handle the truth!
105.1 and 1080, The Fan.
All right, that'll do it for us. Adios.
What?
You didn't get me this time.
I might have got Joe, though.
Damn it. I wish I had the YouTube on because I just shook my head. Like, no.
Either way, I don't give a damn.
Little housekeeping here. Kyle on the YouTube chat. I'm trying to confirm this. Not that I don't believe you, but apparently per Ryan Harlan, Malik Murphy out indefinitely with a hand injury.
Who?
Malik Murphy.
Oh. All right, well,
I was just on his Twitter. Let me go look.
I know I'm on it right now, but I'm also not on Twitter, so I don't get
you
chronological
can't get
order.
Well, App State by 30 then.
Yes, according to Oregon State head coach Trent Bray, this is from Ryan Harlan. He mentioned that Malik Murphy did not practice yesterday due to the hand injury. Should Moore not be able to go, it will be Murphy. It will be Jabari Johnson.
Yeah, it's pulling too much money out of the ATM.
My elbow hurts.
Monday Night Football got some juice for you, but Joe, I feel like I need a timeout. Can I get a sports timeout here?
Should I spend the next 7 minutes talking about fantasy football? My fantasy team in particular.
Joe, no.
Because if anything's going to get people to tune into this
That's
station
it.
right now and see the ratings increase.
Well, the only thing that's going to get people to tune into Jets Dolphins is if you have one of these guys on your fantasy team.
Garrett Wilson, just do what you do, baby. All right? Just do what you do.
I went receivers and running backs really high, so I'm throwing Justin Fields out there tonight.
Dude, I am scrapping and clawing. Waiver wire warrior out here.
I'll watch Bengals Broncos. I need to see more from Bo. I think this Broncos team is struggling, and with the Chargers loss, which I can't believe we didn't even get to today, we'll get to that tomorrow.
Ew, yeah, that was.
I know, and Herbert didn't look good doing it either.
No.
The Broncos really need a win here because the Chargers look like that division was just going to get blown up. But the Chiefs are now 2-2. Broncos get a 2-2, and then this division starts shaping up kind of how we thought they would.
Yeah, Broncos, to me, they have to win this game.
Mm-hmm.
You can't lose to the Bengals when they have Jake Browning.
And I get to hate watch Jake Browning.
Yeah,
too.
I
love hate watching Jake Browning.
Me too, brother.
That's where I was talking about how, with my team not playing the same sport as your team anymore in Washington State versus Oregon, a lot of my biases and hatreds have all gone out the window, except for the Huskies and Jake Browning. I will live in that world. I will just... that old habit will die hard.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. That is always. See, it's funny though. There is definitely part of me that ever since Michael Penix left Washington, I have been one of the bigger. Michael Penix is legit and going to be an awesome NFL quarterback.
And I can't bring myself to it.
I have no idea why. Maybe it's because he just broke Oregon's heart so many times, and
screw that guy.
And he was just a baller doing it, and just seemed to put that ball wherever he wanted. Going into that draft, it seemed like, all right, well, there's this quarterback, and there's this quarterback, and Michael Penix, yeah, I got a second round grade on him. I'm like, no, do not do that.
And then he gets taken by Atlanta, and you're like, ooh, I love that pick by Atlanta.
He is so good to me. He is just
he's got a cannon.
Yes, and he's a lefty.
He can run.
He is probably the one Washington player that is in the league that I'm just dude, that guy's legit. I love him.
I also talk about this all the time. How much of a Husky is he really?
Well,
let me ask you this question.
I think I know the question you're about to ask.
Say John Mateer comes back healthy and balls out and is the number one pick in the draft.
No, you cannot claim
Do
him.
I have 4 quarterbacks that have gone number 1 in the draft from Wazoo?
You cannot claim him, no.
Why not?
No, you try to do this with Cam Ward.
Why
too.
not?
Because
what's hilarious is I'm not allowed to with Cam Ward because I was very, very, very critical of him a lot at Wazoo and at Miami.
Well, I also find this conundrum with
I lost my privilege on Cam Ward
with Bo Nix. He finished his career at Oregon,
played 2 seasons,
had a great career at Oregon, but I was like, do we not remember what he did to Oregon his freshman year at Auburn?
Yeah.
Beat us on a pretty big stage.
Yeah. Yep.
I feel like that part of Oregon Duck fans' memory has just been completely wiped and erased. They're like, but Bo Nix was at Oregon? Or was that Auburn? Oh, no, I don't remember that. Do you remember that? I don't remember that at all. Yeah, go Ducks, baby. Let's go. Let's go Ducks. Yeah. No, Bo has to have a good game tonight.
I think he's got to.
He I think I saw a stat earlier that on passes above 10 yards, it's he is not very accurate this season at all.
It's he's completing 35% of those balls are uncatchable balls.
Yeah,
something really bad.
I want to see him because he had an amazing year last year. I don't want the Broncos to have a slide and let's go Ducks.
Team's too talented. We'll get out on this since I got the both of you here, and I don't know the next time the 3 of us have a true hot corner reunion. So we'll finish up getting back into some baseball. Just stop off the cuff. I'll just make it plain and simple. Guys, what do we like for the World Series here now that playoff brackets are set? Because I'll tell you what, I'll toot my horn on this, and you both were there. In July, my World Series pick was Philly-Seattle, which right now those are the two teams with the best odds to go to the World Series. My only issue with the Philly thing right now is they had Zach Wheeler at the time, and Zach Wheeler may never pitch again. And that is a huge blow to Philly. But the Schwarbs and the Schwarbombs, I love. I will take Philly over Seattle in 6 games.
Whether I think it's going to happen or not, I just want it because of the hilarity of these two teams being the pennant winners. Give me Brewers Blue Jays. Like, what the hell? Like, going into this season, the Blue Jays were like, the Blue Jays aren't going to be very good, right?
I actually think Brewers Seattle would be a hell of a matchup.
That would be fun.
And I think
from a baseball nerd standpoint.
And I just think the idea
Brewers connection, yeah.
The idea of the Brewers, like a couple years ago, Craig Counsell leaves them to go to the Cubs, and then Pat Murphy comes in and wins the division in back-to-back years.
He's going to win Manager of the Year again, too.
Yes! The dude's a boss.
Absolutely.
I love Pat Murphy.
If I am Brian Cashman, what does it take to get Pat Murphy in New York City? That's where I am right now.
So, I mean, like, the Blue Jays, whatever. Like, give me,
the Blue Jays have some of the most run-prevent defense in all of baseball.
There's just part of me that does not want to see any AL East team go, though.
I know. Screw all those guys, except for your O's. I got a little soft spot for the Rays, too.
And I hate to break it to you, bud, but the Guardians are playing some good baseball, but I do not buy them as a World Series attendee.
Dude, we may be playing good baseball. We're not playing watchable baseball. Let me tell you that, dude. I watch so many games, and it is a grind.
Nobody's scoring runs for your team. That's for damn
Dude,
sure.
I'm telling you, man, if Scooble's throwing tomorrow, and I know we beat him after they scored 2 runs, but last time we played them before he pooped down his leg with shorts on, and he hit David Fry in the face and just melted down, they scored 2 runs, and I was like, we're done. See ya.
Bye.
We're out. Because our offense is just, we have a -6 run differential. And we're in the play. We won our division.
Unreal. That is unreal. Yeah, I mean,
I don't like our chances. I'm gonna root my ass off, but I don't love our chances.
Yeah, screw the Red Sox, screw the Yankees. Again, the Blue Jays Brewers. It would be funny because also I'd love to see how the ratings are on those. I think a lot of people will be checked out.
I think the Blue Jays have the easiest path to the CS of any team in the playoffs right now. Because I don't believe in Boston or New York. I just don't.
I think it'd be fun to see though the Tigers, like everybody's counting them out at this point, and they just have an offensive research. Yeah, exactly.
They have the talent. Schultz and I were asking this in the break. He was like, "Who do you not want to see?" And he was like, "I don't want to see Cleveland. I think the pitching's really good, and Detroit has fallen apart." And I'm kind of like, Detroit scares me because they got guys that just aren't playing well, and it's baseball, man. If you click in, you can click in.
So I know that you said Phillies Mariners because that's what you chose at the start of the season.
Yeah.
How bad do you want to see a Guardians Reds World Series though?
Oh, the Tito Bowl.
Yeah, the Tito.
Dude, baseball might cease to exist if the World Series is Cleveland Cincinnati. They don't even play the game. They just shut the game down.
Patrick needs new shorts. Get this guy a towel.
Schultz, what do you like?
I don't know. I guess I could root for like a Seattle Bowl World Series with the Brewers, who of course were the Seattle Pilots. That would just be so strange if the Mariners, the first time they get to the World Series, it's against the one team that was also in Seattle at one point. But I don't think the Brewers have the horses to get there. They've had a great season, though. I'm scared of the Yankees more so than anybody else in the American League. So like if Seattle faces the Yankees, which they would have home field advantage still, in the ALCS, I'm concerned that'll be a 7-game series. But I do think the Mariners have it. It's going to be the Mariners in 7 against the Phillies in the World Series. That's my prediction.
Dude, anytime you go to a Blue Jays game in Seattle, it's like 50% Blue Jay fans. Would the playoffs be like that too?
It'll be worse. I don't want the Blue Jays to be in.
You lose home field advantage if you're playing Toronto.
It's like Ohio State at Washington all over again.
Oh, good God. All right, that'll do it for us. A big thank you to you, Joe, and a big thank you to you, Schultz. It was wonderful to have the 3 of us reunited again. I appreciate you picking up duty today a lot.
You got it, brother. Thank you for having us.
That'll do it for us. Ducks Insider is next. For Joe Fisher, that's Jordan Schultz. I'm Patrick Harris. Go do something I would do.